We're hot. We're live. We running.
Yeah,
Well, so
great.
welcome everybody who's already watching right now. This is some of the gang of Negative Modifier. Charlie, you want to take it away with the
Yeah, sure. Why not? I talk the most on this normally. Why not have me talk here too? It's welcome to the Negative Modifier Extra Life charity stream benefiting the. How do you pronounce this hospital's name, Alex? It's
Dornbecker.
all right. Thank you, because I have been failing at that one all morning. The what was it again? The Dornbrecker?
Dornbecker Children's Hospital.
Yes.
Yeah,
Raising
they're.
money.
Oh, good. I was gonna say they're
No,
part of OHSU, which is kind of a hospital school that's up here with the Oregon Health and Science University, I believe. And so they're basically kind of teamed up with them, and yeah, they have a whole really nice children's hospital. I've been there a few times, and yeah, so I've been raising money for them since I moved up here. But
yeah, and we're doing Extra Life because why the hell not? And also, do some good in the world, if you will. And we spent a lot of time playing some really depressing, dark games, so we thought we would, for a change, play something where I can't kill players. It actually is a positive, upbeat, adventure type of thing. So we're playing some Tales from the Loop today, a game that, if you follow me on Twitter or kind of hear me talk about like the best starting tabletop RPGs, I am adamant that this is one of them. Obviously, I'm Charlie, the GM for most of Negative Modifier stuff. He's Alex. He's Agent Foxtrot, as many of you already know him by. But our most important guest of today is Sam of Demon Skunk Studios. He just completed a Kickstarter for his upcoming game. You want to tell us something about that before we get into Tales from the Loop and get this whole train rolling?
Yeah, just started our first Kickstarter ever. I completed, and we will be doing some late backers in a couple of days. It's a sci-fi using Savage Worlds, and we kind of wanted a more positive, upbeat, since there's a lot of kind of dark sci-fi out there at the moment. It takes in a lot of things, inspiration from like 80s Saturday morning cartoons, uh, games like Mega Man and Cave Story.
Yeah, the art for it yet on the Kickstarter is like aggressively colorful in the most wonderful
Yeah,
way. It's like someone threw a Crayola kind of like pencil the crayon box into a blender and was like happiness. And you're like, the colors, man. I don't see this that much these days. Where are the drab beiges that everyone's going with nowadays?
yeah.
But yeah. So speaking of vibrant, obnoxious colors, welcome to Tales from the Loop, the game of the 80s that never was. Well, what does that mean? It's the 80s that either you actually remember or more likely nostalgically incorrectly remember because, while the 80s is known kind of through cinema and a variety of other things as this vibrant, coke-fueled, crazy era of crazy colors and fashion and insane action movies, it was also a bizarre time period of various social changes, lots of laws coming into place. It was both a fascinating time period of progress and an incredibly depressing period of a lot of kind of buildups of things finally coming to an end, or people finally working to change those things. Like, it's a hard decade of change. And whenever we play Tales from the Loop, we play in the year of 1980 something, which is my clever way of getting around knowing exactly what was happening what year in the 80s. So if it happened in the 80s, it's hypothetically a reference that can be made during this stream because it's kind of fun to just have it all meshed together like that, the way people remember it. And we will be playing in a outreaching suburb of Portland, Oregon, a place called Boring, Oregon, made famous in the real world for A, being called boring, and B, just an insane number of Bigfoot sightings. They have a Bigfoot museum. Researching this town for this stream was absolutely fascinating. It both completely deserves its name and also it's a very fantastically tongue-in-cheek name. And, well, setting a Tales from the Loop game in a place called Boring Anything is just too much for me to pass up. Tales from the Loop brings with it kind of a Hadron Collider. World of Tales from the Loop, it takes place in a town that has become the residency home of fantastical technology. Hence, where the 80s that never happened or 80s that was part of this game comes into play. Basically, it's all the 80s you remember, but robots and what's called graviton vehicles happen. Like there's some real hard sci-fi stuff in here that maybe in later iterations of the franchise goes a little bit awry, but right now it's logging robots, trains that hover, cyborg arms, all that cool stuff you really wanted to have happen in the 90s and the 80s you felt was just around the corner and we now know was nowhere near about to happen. And it looks correct too. It's all that kind of slick, very colorful robots and all that stuff, like very utilitarian. No one has a robot butler yet, but it's there, and we will be playing as children today. Tales from the Loop is a game where you take place as playing a character from ages 10 to 14. The sequel, Tales from the Flood, takes it from that to adulthood, if you will, but we're going to focus on the children because, well, Extra Life feels thematically appropriate, having kids go out there and solving fun stories. So before we dive into this, let's talk about Portland and its surrounding areas in the 80s. And we're all familiar with kind of the public perception of Portland now. It's weird, it's coffee, it's Stumptown, it's Hipsterville, which a lot of that actually starts and originates from this time period, ironically. Like the whole bicycle trend that we now kind of associate with Portland in the modern era starts, for the sake of this play session, now. Like the first mayor that was big into bikes happens around this time. Crime in the city of Portland is not great. It's pretty rampant. Like you went to various a lot of the kind of now very nice city centers didn't exist or were nightmare fueled kind of crime dens at this point in time. A lot happens to the city in the following 20, 30 years to bring it up to now type of thing. And it would completely make sense that an attempt to kind of rejuvenate and capitalize on cheap land and accessible kind of hubs of travel, a company would decide to build a Hadron Collider here. It's got water, it's got solid ground, it's got a major city you can fly in and out of, but at the same time, you don't have to be there. You can go to the suburbs, you can escape to the woods. It's idyllic, it's beautiful. Recruiting people will be easy because you go, yeah, the city's right there if you need it, but also you don't want to go there. It's terrible. Stay in the small town. So, yes, welcome to Boring, Oregon. A
By the way,
town. Hmm?
little tidbit on Boring, Oregon. You know they have two
Yeah.
sister cities?
Yep, they have what's it, Dull and
Dull, Scotland, and Bland
yep.
in New South Wales, and they formed a League of Extraordinary Communities, which is an
I
actual group.
every time I play this game, I do a lot of research. I've never enjoyed researching a town more than Boring, Oregon, because they are so tongue in cheek about just like we're called boring. We're gonna lean into this as hard as we goddamn can and have some fun with it. And
Oh, it's amazing.
it's
I love it.
it's refreshing to see a town of like less than 1,000 people understand they're a town of less than 1,000 people and have some fun with it. Where it's like, no, we know everyone in town. Let's do something weird. Like let's actually make this fun for us to live here, type of thing. But yes, it's we apologize in advance for the real Boring Oregon if we misrepresent your town. I had a lot of fun researching it. You seem like a lovely place. Not sure I'm going to visit there, aside for your Sasquatch museum ever, but also you have the Sasquatch museum. That's pretty cool in my book. But yeah, before we
Oh,
get going, since this is an extra live stream, we do have some wonderful Die Hard dice to give away. You got a picture of those we can pop up, Alex? It's a little better than me holding
oh
them up.
yeah. Let me.
Yeah.
I should have had that prep, but
Damn it, Alex.
I know. Worst. Pledge to all four of them. All right,
Pardon
there
our
we
dust
go.
as we get this up and setting for you.
Yep, that was all right. It's gonna just literally go right over, and
That's
so.
fine. It's all about the dice right now. We want to show off the dice, the beautiful, beautiful Die Hard dice they have donated for us to give away as part of this. And if you wish to win some of these beautiful dice, and the pictures do not do them justice. The large metallic ones are fantastically heavy and just feel good in your hands, and the kind of clear ice-looking ones, they're really clear. Like, I'm not sure I've ever had a dice that was like this transparent when they were supposed to be, and I am sad to see them go. They've been fun to have around. I've tested them to make sure they're good dice, and they're great dice. So put them to the dice tower. Maybe put some sound effects, some of them up later as the week wears on. But yeah, win some dice. And how do you get to win those dice, Alex?
Well, it's very simple. We have an extra live fundraising page up. And there's a couple ways to do it. Number one, if you donate a minimum of $1, um, you are entered into the raffle for some of the dice. We're going to do a giveaway, I believe, at the end of the campaign. So regardless of whoever signed up, you can you're automatically thrown into the running. There's also, I believe, we can trigger an instant dice giveaway. If someone donates $50, we will automatically just all of a sudden whoever's already donated into the campaign, that will set off an automatic basically giveaway. And so we have a couple sets of dice here. Really nice. But yeah, just donate to the campaign, which, like, again, we're not getting any of it. This is 100% going to Dornbecker, the children's hospitals. So yeah, we don't get any of it. This was all giveaway stuff. We just have fun playing tabletop and hanging out here and doing that. So
Yes. Well, should we get to the tabletop part of the stream and not just trying to push these dice on people and explaining how cool the town of Boring, Oregon is?
absolutely.
Everyone can use some more dice.
I've reached a point where I'm not sure that's true anymore. Like, when you have a bucket o' dice, I think you have a problem, and I definitely have a problem because I have a bucket o' dice, but I could have a bigger bucket. You are correct. I could
Yeah.
fix my problem. Yeah, you're 100% right on this one. I guess before we get rolling, if you check into the various kind of incentives we have for this, you can influence the gameplay some. Various donation levels will kind of give you the ability to influence what does or does not happen during the session. Some you can help out the players, you can hinder the players, or because we are unfortunately so known for Delta Green at this point, I have set this up that if need be, we can call in the Delta Green agents and they can try and fix the situation for our plucky youngsters instead of having them go through this terrible turmoil. But we'll see what happens. Shall we get to it on this one, gentlemen? Shall we start this one off?
Yeah, I think before we dive into it, I do want to kind of go specifically about the ways they can modify the game, because we do have it
Sure.
listed on our incentives. But
I did glaze over those. You are correct.
Yep.
we did mention the $1 dice. I think that's that. But if you wanted to hinder kind of the gameplay or help out, if you donate $5, you can let a player re-roll a failed dice roll. But at any point during the game, if you donate $5, then you can automatically, oh hey, yeah, they'll pass that roll. If you do $10, which is called Let the Wookiee Win, you can automatically let a player win their dice roll. So it's like, okay, yeah, perfect. You just automatically win it, no problem. Um, $13 is the one where you do a little bit of fun and hinder it. So if you have any player roll a successful dice roll, you can donate $bucks, and that will cause us to re-roll that attempt. So even though it was successful,
Because I'm me, I'm a huge fan of that option.
yeah. So you can literally just be like, "Oh no, you did do a successful roll, but not anymore." And then, of course, last but not least, the calling all agents. This is a one-time thing, of course. But if somebody donates $200, then time flashes forward, and all the kids are now adult Delta Green agents. Mind you, by the way, that Charlie has put together a full backup just in case this gets set off.
Oh yeah, the half of the prep for this was setting up the Delta Green if they get called in parts of it, like to the point where I kind of want to do it because it's definitely the most outlandish Delta Green thing I've set up to date. I've set up some outlandish Delta Green stuff. Like there's some dimension hopping involved in this potentially.
Oh, I like that.
Yes, but Tales from the Loop.
Sounds good.
Definitely looking forward to both of these.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so I did send you both a question to kind of bring you guys together. The way Tales from the Loop works is you are, not to kind of boil it down to much, but you are a Scooby Doo gang, if you will. You're a bunch of plucky youngsters that are investigating and solving some problem befalling your town because adults just don't get it, or they're too busy, or who cares about all those cats that went missing? Cats go missing all the time. But the question I sent both of you is, are you voluntarily serving on the volunteer crew to help clean up the forest, or are you, what's the right phrase, there because you're being punished?
Hmm. I guess for me, I will be there because I volunteered to be there.
All right.
Well, should we go over our characters?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think this would be a good place to introduce. Like,
All
so
right.
yeah, I guess like give me an introduction of your character and whether they are there voluntarily as kind of community service or they are there against their will as community service.
Hmm. Well, I will be playing a character called Casey Jones, uh, who you guys can also call CJ. I guess that's kind of what
Chat,
everyone
I beg
calls
of you,
him.
do not engage with him on this. Do not give his pun extra life.
Oh, very nice. Well done. I noticed that. So I play a jock. So he's very athletic. He's all about making his parents proud, getting that scholarship. So for him, being there and volunteering obviously looks good when you start, later on going to apply to colleges and stuff like that. He's prepping very much early on for that kind of thing. So even though young, what is he, 14? Yeah. So this is around the time you'd want to start making sure you get kind of that stuff on, ducks in a row. So yeah, that's why he's there. Looking forward to uh helping out, just making his application look good down the line.
Indeed.
And I am playing Zeke Chakowski. He's the weird kid, uh, the one that a lot of people tend to stay away from or kind of bully. He has an issue of very absentee parents. They work a lot, are often traveling or just not around, so he's kind of left to his own devices. Um, and as such, he kind of has a very overactive imagination and is probably involved in this just as something to do because he doesn't have a whole lot of friends and just needs something other
I
than
guess I
sitting
could.
around.
So I guess kind of on that topic, like, would your parents have, in theory, like encouraged you or signed you up for this because it gets you out of the house and keeps a pair of adult eyes on you during the day type of thing? Like, is it a way just to kind of give you a thing to
If
do
it
that'll get you outside?
If anything, it would probably be his grandfather that did it.
Mm,
He's pretty close to his grandfather. His grandfather is definitely a kind of like an outdoorsman and probably sees it as a good character building.
sure, I'll buy that. That makes a lot of sense for this. All right. So you are off in the woods south of town with Ranger Rick, your family, your friendly kind of local ranger. He's done some work at your school. He's the one that runs this kind of outreach community service program. You're not the only kids out there though. You're probably just several of probably we'll say 12 some odd kids are kind of milling about, cleaning up trails. You're not within sight. You're kind of spread across the forest. You're going through and kind of picking up garbage, cleaning up trails, moving logs where need be. You know, the manual labor stuff that you can do during the 80s that you really can't quite get away with now because, well, kids might hurt themselves. And it's the woods. What's the worst that could happen to them? How did you two wind up attached together as a group? It's kind of a bit of an odd pairing, or kind of you two separate and just kind of working in proximity to each other?
I would say probably in proximity, unless we were assigned together as a group kind of thing.
Sure.
So yeah,
Yeah,
I think that would be 'cause our obviously our kind of based off our characters, not group or not a pairing that would normally happen kind of thing.
I wouldn't say so, but
Yeah,
but we're within the same-ish age range. My character
yeah.
just being a year younger.
yeah.
Yeah, you probably know each other from school or something. All right. So kind of off the beaten trail, kind of we'll say 50, 60 feet away, kind of out in the woods, you see this glow. It's not an exact shape you can look. It's like a blob of some kind. It's definitely kind of almost a dancing light type situation, but it's a rainbow kind of illusion. Like not quite the not quite the Northern Lights, not quite kind of a light show, but it's almost like something vaguely rainbow was glistening off in the woods about 10 feet off the ground. What do you two do?
I'll walk over and take a look at it and see what it is.
Yeah, I definitely want to go check that out.
Yeah. Let's start with our first kind of rolls of this. You're off roading a little bit. Both of you give me a move roll. so that we can kind of explain how the dice rolls of this game work to people watching.
Uh, I'll let you go from there. Just don't make that.
All right. See if I do this right.
Oh, yeah, zero.
Oh, Alex, you probably want to mute the
Mm.
page that the Roll20 is on because it makes the beeping sound.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
As it actually makes it square in this little rectangular.
We all good?
Yep. All right.
Yep.
I will mute this tab here. That's the other thing I got. All right.
Yeah.
Whatever. All right. I will do mine and move roll. Right.
Yep.
There we go. I got 2 successes on mine.
All right. So the way
And
Tales from
none
the
of
Loop
mine.
works, yeah. So the way that Tales from the Loop works, this is a collaborative game. So there are some kind of bonuses you can give. You can also kind of give one of your successes to one of your partners in crime, if you will. The game is based on attributes and skills that add up to your overall dice pool. You're going to give one of your successes to Zeke, or you kind of going to watch him nosedive and bounce his way through the underbrush.
Well, I don't know him, but if I'm close enough to like make sure he doesn't fall, then I will go ahead and
Yeah,
make sure that he doesn't
yeah,
fall.
that feels like a good way of kind of spreading the success there, I guess. Yeah, like you
Yeah.
see him kind of tripping over a log or something, and reach off and like maybe impact his fall, or kind of grab him so he doesn't kind of hurt himself on something too jaggedy. But yeah, so takes a little time to get there. You are off roading through the woods some, like on foot as kids, and eventually you kind of come to a small clearing, and about 10 feet off the ground, there's just this bubble. It's about 6 feet wide, give or take. It's a tad amorphous. It's kind of shifting in on itself a little bit. Almost looks like a ball of water, but the surface is slightly rainbow. Kind of it's like looking through a prism of some kind of all the lights. But on the opposite side of it, you see the same woods you're standing in, but different. Like there's various houses sticking up across, kind of out through the trees. You can see, like it's almost like you're looking at either an overlay or a different version of the exact same woods you're in.
Hmm.
I am going to look for a stick long enough to try and poke it.
Yeah, it's easy enough to find. In fact, right, like, yeah, it's about 10 feet off the ground. So you find kind of like a log of some kind, or kind of a large branch you could poke at it.
And
All right, so you're gonna poke it.
I'm gonna
Yep.
watch him poke it here.
Yeah. Yeah, so you kind of get the stick up and you kind of ram it against it, and the bubble itself, it's not as liquid as it looks. Like the you kind of it pushes back. It's not quite like elastic, and the stick does start to kind of slowly shift in to the bubble, but it's not like solid either. Like it's definitely got some kind of weird, almost like jelly or maybe jello like quality to it. It's that kind of weird, not quite a solid, not quite a liquid or a solid that you could like suck through your teeth type of texture going on. Um, all right, so give me a comprehend check on this now that you've got this stick up in this thing.
I do, or
No, no, just Zeke who's holding the stick.
Not super good at that, but let's see.
that was yeah, that was a 0 successes on that one.
Yep.
All right, so it takes so you're gonna take our first kind of condition of this. So there's no damage in this game. There's just conditions. So it takes you a couple seconds to realize this, but the bubble is actually slowly pulling the stick into itself. But more importantly, the bubble is slowly drifting down. Like it's almost extending itself to coat the stick you pushed up into it ever so slowly down towards your hand. You don't notice this to kind of a cool sensation kind of hits your hand. You realize that this entire thing is kind of enveloped the stick up to where you're holding it, and it's going to give you the kind of scared condition because it kind of makes you jump back surprised as you're holding this. When you let go, the stick kind of stays there. Eventually, it kind of falls, but then kind of like it's slowly pulled up into the bubble. But yeah, take the upset condition, or sorry,
R-
the scared condition.
Remind me, how
Yep.
big is the bubble again?
About 6 feet wide.
Okay, 6 feet wide. Okay,
Yeah, that's a big bubble.
yeah.
Yeah.
I will throw a rock. I'll see if there's a rock nearby or something I can throw at it just to see like if anything else happens to it, or if it absorbs it, like it doesn't stick. Basically,
I'll just give you that one. Yeah, so the rock hits it, kind of it slows once it hits it, but yeah, it slowly starts to drift into the bubble. Both of you give me a comprehend now that you're looking at kind of further interaction with this thing. I'll both give you guys a +1 to that even because you've realized that this thing is doing some weirdness.
okay. I will
That's a
do.
bonus die.
Yep.
Go ahead and go first that way. Two successes on that one. See, I will go ahead and mine. I had 0.
Yeah, so there's no good way of sharing this, but Zeke, so you notice two things. One, the bubble's definitely absorbing stuff. Two, it's not so much absorbing stuff as it's becoming like part of what you're seeing on the opposite side of the picture. Like it's not suspended it anymore. It's like inside what you would see when looking at the bubble. So that forest you're seeing, it's now it's like the part that stuck out that looked a bit fuzzy, and you're kind of it's not that it's part of that. It's on the opposite side of whatever that bubble is.
That is really weird.
I think that is.
I don't know, like I don't think I've seen anything like that. Like it's, I don't think it's alive. Um, but it's kind of gooey.
Yeah, we oh, that alone. I mean, it. I threw a freaking rock at it. It's like it looked like it ate it, and I don't feel like getting eaten by a 6 foot bubble.
I don't think it can eat us unless we like touch it.
I dare you to touch it.
I I don't know if that's a good idea. I kind of absorb that whole stick, and I'm not prepared to go to a whole weird place like that.
It's also up in the air enough that you have to find some way of getting 10 feet up in the air to get to the bubble.
Oh, okay. So it's high. Okay,
It's
I imagine
floating,
I was
yeah.
on the push floating. Okay.
Yep.
Um.
I don't know. I can jump real high.
Part of your social outcast superpowers, the super jump.
I'm
Same
gonna
But
Teen Wolf.
I
I'm
can
gonna
imagine I can jump real high.
I'm gonna throw another rock at it.
Yeah, so the rock hits it, it does the exact same thing, and just in a poof, no smoke, no sound, nothing, the bubble's just gone. As are the two rocks that were in it and the chunk of the stick that was already up inside of it. The part of the stick that was sticking just kind of falls to the ground, and it's just cleanly cut.
I'm
Yeah,
glad we
I'm not
didn't
touching
touch it.
that.
Yeah, I'm glad we didn't touch it. We should probably go. This yeah, I'm gonna go now. I suggest you follow me. And I'm just start
All right.
slowly walking back like
All right, so as you're walking back towards the path, you hear a sound. It's a loud kind of crashing sound. Uh, Bears, deer, a variety of animals live out in the Oregonian woods. So you would growing up there, you'd be kind of used to this idea to a certain extent. But yeah, animal sounds happen. This is big, like maybe too big sounding. It doesn't really seem to care. Like most animals are selective in how they go about their movements. They're trying to be stealthy. They're not trying to make a lot of sounds. This is almost smashing through things. Like it's not knocking over trees, but it definitely doesn't seem to care about what it steps on.
how close was the sound?
You don't know. So that's the thing too. Normally you come able to gauge a sound because there'd be distance and there'd be some kind of okay, it's far away, so it's echoes. This thing is just like it's something running or smashing again. Like it's kind of like driving a car through the woods. It just makes so much sound. It doesn't matter how far away. It's just making sound. Stuff snapping, stuff's crashing, whatever. So it's not close, but it's not far. I guess like you'd probably say Actually, give me a comprehend.
One success.
It's not on you yet, but it's definitely getting closer. How far it is, you can't quite tell because it's not being stealth at all. Like it's definitely kind of making a beeline for your location.
Okay. So I'm gonna look over at Zeke and be like, let's go, let's go. Something's coming towards us, and I'm just gonna start gunning it back towards like the group where everyone else is at.
All right, both of you give
No,
me
don't leave me behind.
both of you give me a move as you try and run out of these woods.
I will let you go first there. All right. Got one success on that one. Two successes on mine.
All right, yeah. So nothing bad happens as you hightail it out of the woods. I will say that long before you get back to where you're trying to get to, the sound stops. You don't stop noticing. You just run back to the ranger station, and it's about that time anyway. Ranger Rick is standing there, just kind of proud and rangy looking. Well, boys, welcome back from the woods. What's got you all rustled and running back here? Normally you have a nice leisurely walk. You find something?
There's like a moose or a bear chasing us.
Not
Yeah,
any moose up in here. Not that I'm aware of, at least. That's more of a northeast thing,
there was a
I
big
think.
or something, but yeah, we had to run away, and then there was this giant floating bubble that was absorbing stuff that we threw at it.
A giant floating what?
Giant
It's
floating
bubble.
bubble.
It cut the stick right in half.
Uh huh. You're not trying to pull a fast one, old Ranger Rick, now, are you?
No, no, like really, like there was like this giant bubble that was in the woods, and I threw rocks at it, and it like it like went away. It didn't pop.
Boys, I expect lies out of the delinquent kids, but you two are here voluntarily. It's nice you survived your bubble encounter, I guess. Where was it exactly?
And so I'm going to point in the general direction where we ran from and
Yep.
say it was over there.
Oh, so it was in the woods. Great.
Yeah, I
Well,
know what I
boys,
saw, man.
Yeah, we were both there. We both saw it.
I'm sure you saw something. Strange things are all over these woods out here.
Stranger Things.
One might say that, yes.
I
God
couldn't help
damn it.
myself. I'm sorry.
I know. All right, so kind of Ranger Rick has to go off and sign out the rest of the juvenile delinquents paperwork. You two are there voluntarily, so you're free to leave. So one of the kind of cool things I learned about this is the '80s are the start of the bike culture of the Oregon area. Like obviously it's the '80s, so kids were riding bikes to get places as a normal thing. But this is kind of where bike culture in that region hits its stride some. So yeah, I'm assuming you guys gonna head back to town and head home.
I'm actually. Well, what day of the week technically? I should have asked.
I was gonna say it is so it's mid October. This my shift started off with that. You are correct, and it is Thursday.
Thursday. Okay.
Yeah.
Roughly what time of day?
This is an after school thing for you too, so we'll say by now it's probably getting close to 5 p.m., 5:30 ish.
Okay. Is there a local arcade slash pizza place that I could probably go to in Boring?
There absolutely is.
Okay, then that's where I will go next. Grab some.
What are you up to? You heading home? You got kind of
Yeah, I'm gonna
kill some
head
time before
home
you go?
because uh, I probably have to try and make food for dinner
Gotcha.
or reheat a thing.
Ah, yes, the ultimate latchkey kid experience. Indeed. All right, so this arcade is well known in town as the Neon Night. It's famous for its large, kind of neon green painted night outside. That's definitely not because someone used the wrong paint color and it faded very quickly because of rain and nature getting to it. It definitely was an intentional choice. But yeah, it's the local hangout for kids in some ways. It's a big arcade. It's got a pizza place kind of built into it. one might say a progenitor to what we think of as the typical Chuck E. Cheese experience, but way, way better. The owners leaned in hard into it being the place in town to hang out for kids, and he's benefited because it is indeed the place in town to hang out if you are a kid. It's got some wanted posts, not wanted posters, but got some kind of flyers for various stuff around town. It's one of the kind of main hubs, if you will, especially if you're under the age of, we'll say, 18. Like, it's all ages. It's also the 80s arcade scene where the place is just full of cigarette smoke for no apparent reason. Every point of the day, like even when it's closed, there's someone in there smoking somehow. So everyone's real close to the screen so they can see them. People are doing the quarters up to call next. I don't think Street Fighter 2 is out just yet, but use your imagination. All your favorite 80s video games are there, probably one or two duplicate because the town has some money courtesy of the loop being there. HCE Technologies has been real good to the town. It brought in a lot of people. It's put the town a bit on the map. One might call boring thriving, if you will, courtesy of HCE Technologies. But yeah, there's probably even like a couple like things donated by HCE at this arcade, given their interest in the community and making themselves kind of part of the town, if you will, not just a major employer. So, what are you doing at the arcade, CJ?
So I'm gonna buy a slice of pizza, and then I'm just gonna head over to the. Actually, I'm gonna play some pinball.
All right,
So yeah, I will go ahead and play some pinball. I'm sure they at that point they had a Star Wars pinball machine,
and after
probably.
my own heart on this one, I'm sure it exists by now.
Well, I would assume so because I mean Star Wars came out in
Yeah.
1980.
Yeah, well, there is the Star Wars pinball table that there's the correct one, and then there's a bunch of other ones. But
Mhm. I mean, I could do a generic pinball,
yeah,
but yeah, I'm gonna play pinball while I wait for a slice of pizza that I or some pizza that I asked for. So
sure. Do anything else while you're there, or just kind of de-stressing after your time in the woods?
that's it. Just stressing,
Sure.
playing some fun game.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Zeke, what is waiting for you at home? I guess explain the family home some. Like,
Well, they're since they're both working, it's probably middle class. So it's probably not the most up to date house. It's definitely got some outdated furniture to it.
sure,
It's only child. I He doesn't have a pet because his parents are never around, even though he swears he can take care of one. So it's just kind of placed himself, probably cooking some pre prepared meals from the fridge, which isn't that hard to just throw in the oven and then sit down uh, with a TV tray and watch whatever's kind of movie might be on.
sure. Makes a lot of sense. So you do have that one condition on. You gotta try and your bond is your grandparent, right, or
Yep,
grandfather. You
yep.
gotta try and shake that off tonight with him, or I guess explain that relationship some, because the not bonds. Your anchor is how you kind of drive away your conditions in this
Yeah.
game. Does he live with you? Does he live somewhere else in town? What's his
He
situation?
he lives outside of town, probably closer to the woods.
Sure,
I'll probably, after getting food, go and visit him since
sure,
he's the one that uh, takes him fishing and hunting and stuff like that. So might be also a good one just to talk about weird things in the woods.
sure.
But the grandfather is prone to tell a tale or two, so it's not necessarily everything that he says is true.
Yeah, I follow. Yeah, so nothing eventful happens just yet to either of you. Maybe you kind of hear various people talking about kind of strange stuff around town in the arcade, but nothing as strange as what you two witnessed. You after the grandparents seek, you head home at this point, CJ, or what else you doing before kind of we bring Thursday to a close?
Basically after I've been done with kind of playing some whatever extra change I had, doing the pinball machine and eating my pizza.
So I guess I should have asked when we first brought up. Are you avoiding going home?
Kind of a little bit. It's also still we have some
Gotcha.
sunlight out, so I'm like, I'll
Sure.
just stay outside.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll just kind of head back home at this point after I'm done eating my pizza and playing some pinball.
I gotcha.
So it's one day I didn't have to do after school sports, so I figured I'd have some fun.
Yeah.
Doing something to myself.
Yeah. And you're off to your grandparents' place. You said you're gonna do that later on this week.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. So, any questions for your grandparents, for your grandfather specifically, or
Uh, he probably won't bring up the weird uh, floating bubble, but probably just like absently ask like, what kind of big animals live in the woods?
does your
Are there
grandfather have a
bears?
nickname of any kind for you, or anything like that?
Um, I have not thought of one.
Fair enough.
I imagine that he would.
Yeah. Well, Zeke, it's the woods. There's deer. There's the occasional bear. Why do you ask? You've never really cared about this stuff before.
I was out in the woods doing the that volunteer thing and got chased by something big. I think
Taste.
yeah, we didn't see it. It was me and another kid, and we were just out there, and suddenly just started charging at us, and we just ran.
Huh. Kind of
It
pause
was
for a sec,
really
scratches
big.
his chin. Maybe it was Sasquatch. Probably not. He's probably not real, but people see him out there every once in a while. I've never seen him, but I believe there might be something out in those woods.
I don't know. It's kind of he doesn't. I, I, Sasquatch doesn't seem like something that runs. Does it run?
I mean, it
I
could.
think it have to run.
It's like a man that can run, but mostly it's running away from people, not towards.
I still think it's like a bear.
Grandfather shrugs at this. Yeah, probably, but bears are also prone to avoid people. Interesting, though. Might have been some lost deer or something. They can raise quite the racket when they want to.
Maybe.
Yeah, but kind of, you talk to your grandfather. He seems to kind of put you at ease on this one. You kind of get to erase that condition for now. He kind of, it's a common presence. He's like, yeah, weird stuff happens out there all the time. Maybe not bubble weird, but yeah, strange things happen. Chat wants to time in that Sasquatch's only powered walk and dance walk. They never run. In researching for this, I saw videos that allegedly were
Oh, did Charlie cut out for you?
Yep.
He cut. He looks. Sasquatch got him. This. Oh, the
Couldn't get that research meet the light of day.
dude.
Oh no.
The big Sasquatch industry complex got him. Oh no! Let me text him and see. Oh, it looks like typing me right now. Oh, he lost power. Oh,
Oh.
oh.
Oh no.
Sasquatch industrial complex got him. Yeah. He's coming back right now.
That.
But yeah, he said he lost power. Should be on again soon.
That's good.
Yeah, he just. So in the meantime, yeah, we should. So have you heard of Extra Life before? I know, like, we pull the end of the but
Mhm.
was wondering if you'd done anything extra life or extra.
I haven't done anything personally, but I definitely see extra life stuff all around.
Okay.
Definitely glad to be part of something like it.
Yeah, no, I've been doing it for a couple years now, and of course, I've had a lot of fun doing it. I did it for Children's Hospital Los Angeles, and now I do it um for Dornbecker Children's Hospital here in Portland. And just a friendly reminder, we have some really neat dice tools today, and they will pimp those out again. Because yeah. Okay.
And then it was it any donation will get in the running for that, and then $50 donation to instigate.
Yeah.
Uh,
So the catch is all right. So the catch here with the dice. Well, so yeah, these dice. There's a couple ways to win it. The first way, obviously, is we do a raffle at the end of the game. So if you've donated a minimum of $1, you are in the running, and we will hook you up with one of these dice sets here. Also, there is one we can set off with a $50 dono will automatically trigger a dice giveaway. Have a set for that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And again, we have the other incentives as far as this goes with messing with the dice rolls, things like that. So, oh, don't sass the Squatch. Yes, that's perfect. Yeah. So, but yeah, so this is kind of what our incentive is. Oh, there he
oh,
is.
Did a power surge in my place.
Oh, really?
I Power went on, power went off. I'm back. Sorry about that, everyone.
I was just letting the picture slideshow of the dice go here for a second. But yeah, so just we're talking about how you can donate and it puts you in the running for one of these sets of dice that are very pretty showing up. I think if I do my arm this way next to Charlie, it shows up. Yeah. So, he's got the actual dice. Whoa, those are actually girthy. Oh. Oh no, they got him again.
oh no!
Oh. Yeah. So those are actually some sizable dice. I was actually surprised. Wow. So, but yeah, again, $1 dono puts you in the running, and we'll reach out to you and get those dice mailed out to you. But yeah, those are the really nice ones, and then we have some really nice clear ones. They're from a company called, I think he said it was Die Hard, something like that. Die Hard Dice. I don't want Bruce Willis to get mad at me for bringing up Die Hard. Uh,
Only the best Christmas movie.
yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, it is Die Hard Dice. So shout outs to them. Oh, coming back. Oh man, we're getting clapped by the weather and power here. Welcome back.
The true negative modifier streaming experience. Yes.
Oh, it's a good thing I'm the one running the actual live stream today.
Yeah. I blame the loop.
Yep. Actually, we were there. Chat was saying it was the Sasquatch itself. You slandered the Sasquatch, and
I
the Sasquatch Industrial Complex does not take kindly to you
have
doing that.
Sasquatch Industrial Complex. I'm all here for that. Yeah. If Bigfoot Incorporated wants to reach out and tell me to cease and desist my slander of their movements, go for it, I guess. Yes, as I was saying before all that happened, thank you for bearing with us. We are back for now. Let's see what happens next. There was apparently a loud sound outside the house, which means someone probably ran into a transformer again, because that happens where I live. But yes,
Hold on. Someone ran into a transformer again.
This happens more than it should. We have a lot of hills that people don't quite realize how steep they are, and important power things at the bottom of them.
Uh, they're Sasquatching you, chat.
And we need that HCE money to upgrade the infrastructure. Get the Transformers away from the runnable so they can't run into them anymore. But yeah, so as I was saying, I've spent some time with your grandfather, Zeke. You get to kind of undo your conditions. Sasquatches are bad drivers. Yes.
Oh, all right. Well, so should we get back? I think the last thing. What was the last thing we heard? I think you were asking about. Well, you had asked me if I was avoiding going home, and I
Yes,
was
asked
heading
your,
back home.
yes, you were. Asked if you were avoiding going home. Zeke was spending time with his grandfather. I think I said his conditions are now gone because he's heard some weird stuff in the woods. That's where kind of my video went all freezy on me. But yeah,
All right.
that about covers all that.
All right. So we're are we continuing
What
their
is
dialogue
what
or?
is what is home for CJ?
So CJ very much lives in that like standard nuclear family household. His mom is homemaker, stays at home full time. Dad works fairly often. But yeah, it's very much one of those situations where it's very much that like very generic nuclear family, if you will. So mom, a
Sure,
dad, and two kids, and I happen to have a
two
little
point five
brother.
kids.
Have five kids. No,
I said 2.5 kids.
2.5 kids. Yes. So, well, yeah, that would be my setup.
Yeah, and your anchor is your family, correct? If I remember correctly.
Hmm? Uh,
Just
and a pet turtle.
is the pet turtle the anchor?
No, the pet turtle is one of my relationships, but my family is they're all.
Uh, yes, the feeling of family is your anchor in this one. Yeah,
Yeah.
do you tell them about what happened out in the woods, or not really?
No, not really. I'll just kind of head on home and kind of get upstairs and do whatever homework stuff I have to do for the most part.
Sure.
Until dinner's ready, and then head downstairs and we'll have dinner as a family. So
Yeah.
very typical like sitcom. Everyone gets to the table and they all eat together, kind of. So
Yeah. Yeah. Normal stuff happens, and a week passes, and it is once again Thursday, which means you're off to the woods. Now that you two have had this kind of bonding thing happen between you two, do you talk it all at school? Do you acknowledge this happened? Like, do you at least ride to the ranger station together on the Thursday following, or nah?
I would say yeah. I think just since we had that experience, we wanted to go check it out some more, and
Yeah.
I definitely would go there together, kind of thing after school. Probably not hang out during school,
Yeah.
obviously.
I'm not cool enough for that.
And I, as part of the jock gang, not necessarily something that I would do. But that
Not
being
sure.
said, high school or not high school, sorry, but like after school, yes, we definitely get together and we would bike on over.
Yeah, so you arrive there, and all the kind of usuals are there with you. Everyone's milling about. Ranger Rick is missing, though.
Is there another ranger in this place?
Nah, it's a small town. Like, there's that kind of replacement. Ranger Rick's just not there, and it seems strange. He's never missed a day type of thing. Even when he was sick, he still shows up to kind of make sure you all get set up. And yeah, his best detail, his car is there. His kind of his truck he uses to get around town. It's there, but he's not.
So I'm guessing when we get there, we get to like the ranger station kind of thing, okay,
Yeah, like it's not station, but like yeah, like a it's a building. Like it has like the tools you'd use to go and clean up the trails and stuff. Probably some like search equipment, maybe like an ATV of some kind when he has to go and like off road it more seriously. Like again, it's the '80s, so technology's not like drones and fancy tech. It's large flashlights, big batteries, and a place to recharge them, and some like disaster blankets.
so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to signal to Zeke and be like, "Hey, let's see if anybody's here." So I'm gonna try to see if there's a door nearby, see if the door's locked or anything like that. So I'll rattle the doorknob and see if it's unlocked.
Yeah, the door is locked. Like the place is locked up as though he left to go do something, which would make sense. Like you're not going to leave the ranger station abandoned or kind of unlocked up if you're going to go off and investigate something or do some work of some kind. You want to look through a window or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of looking through, the place is empty, but also like it looks like there's a thin layer of dust starting to form on everything. Like it's almost like someone hasn't been in the ranger station for several days.
Hmm. So I call Zeke
Let me
over,
see.
like, you notice, this looks weird. Like, it looks like he hasn't been here in a while.
That's all right. He's always here.
Huh.
He should, and if he was gone, he'd leave a note. But like he's never not been around.
Well, I mean,
His car's out there.
yeah, I was gonna say his car's. Let's see if we can get in. So, actually, question for the I guess regarding the design of the building. Does it
Yeah.
have like those grills over the windows where like you can't like get in, or is it just like windows with like a screen or something, or just windows that are
This
there?
is remote. This is remote '80s rural Portland area. You can get in these windows just fine. Like maybe there's a screen in it for opening it up, but yeah, like they're not worried about people breaking into this thing out in the woods. And if they were, they just put a piece of plywood over it and like screw it in place or something for actually locking it up. Yeah, getting through these windows is probably easy enough. Like it's also still early enough there. It's only mid-October. There's a halfway decent chance one of them might be open or kind of jimmyable if you looked around some.
Since the door's locked, I'm gonna signal Zeke to follow me and look over at him and say, "See if we can get one of these windows open."
So I will remind you, you do have like a group of various other people around you, some of which are delinquents. One of them might know how to break into a building like this.
Well, I'd rather try to do it before we ask them. So I figured we could
Sure.
just try
Yeah.
maybe they'll take pity
Well,
on us if we try and fail.
but also they might like deface stuff in there,
Sure. That's a fair call.
and
So
we'll get in trouble.
yeah. So I'll kind of incognito ish check if there are some like windows open that we can get in.
Fair enough. Yeah, so give me an investigate on that one.
That's
Yes.
it pops up the window here. One success.
Yeah, so you do eventually find a window that you can probably jimmy open. Like it's not it appears Ranger Rick has been securing these with like a piece of wood across the top just to kind of hold it down so people can't do exactly what you're trying to do. But yeah, so give me a sneak on this one to kind of use your thief skills, for lack of a better phrase. There's no real good, just kind of dexterity check for this. We're gonna kind of rocking a window up and sliding up's a sneaky thing in my perspective at that point.
Do you want me to try? I'm pretty good at going unnoticed.
Yeah. Go ahead. Also, just really quick chat here. If you wanted to donate, go to modifier.com. There's a link there, extra life page that would take.
You
Uh,
should be able to click the donate thing down below. There's a what's the right phrase? Like an extension or something. It's got a donate button on it.
I can also
It should take.
just that right link.
Yeah. Many ways to donate.
Yes.
But yes, you successfully kind of yeah, you kind of like get your fingers on it, you kind of like push against it, you slide it up some so you get your fingers under it and then kind of slowly but surely evenly raise it up and then kind of puts like a stick or something underneath to hold it open. But yeah, you get the window open carefully enough. Like it's you've never broken in before, but you are it's like this is a strange application of kind of some of the sneakier skills you've learned, like how to get doors open or kind of go about undetected. It's just kind of a bit of a social outcast of some kind. But yeah,
Yep.
you can get through the window if you want at this point. You're both going in?
Yeah, I will. I will go in first,
And I'll follow.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, so you kind of
I'll help him out. Make sure he gets over.
yeah, I was gonna let success roll over for that. Like you guys did it well enough that A, you can get in easily, and B, the other kids don't notice you just broke into the ranger station. So yeah, you get inside and you are struck with the fact that yeah, it does really seem like someone hasn't been here in a couple days at least. Like you can't quite establish how long they've been there. You're not sleuth. You don't have a kind of a time measuring kit of any kind, but there's a thin layer of dust. There's the calendar's not been crossed off for at least 3 days. So you'd guess based on that, that's probably about the time he vanished. Around Monday or Sunday might be your guess, but who knows? There's even there's maybe some food that's starting to go a little bit stale or bad at this point. Not like anything like rotting meat or anything, but like some bread that's starting to go stale or something like that. Stuff that a ranger would have used intentionally to prevent it from being wasteful out here in the woods. But yeah, so what are you looking for now that you're inside?
Oh, really quick. We just had a incentive claimed. Trigger an instant dice giveaway by
All
the
right,
rollers. Was it Rylet? I can't pronounce it. I'm so sorry.
Rylith, it's a Cthulhu thing. All right,
There we go.
all right. So how do we do this, Alex?
Wonderful.
The
We,
perfect time to give away some dice now that we've committed breaking and entering and have begun.
thank you so much. So so far we only have 2 donors, I think. Actually,
Yeah.
no, hold on. Somebody donated $10 too, an anonymous donation, to let an automatic dice roll happen. So let me do the rollers first,
Awesome.
real quick. I want to do the dice roll, so I'll count. We'll do all 3 there. I don't know who the anonymous person is, so I don't even know how we can
Let's
reach out to
start
them.
off with the purple one.
All right. I'm gonna pull up a browser window with a wheel.
Yep.
Feels. All right. Oh, that was Demon Skunk. The Demon Skunk. You are the Anon. Okay. I'm gonna add you to the dice roll thing here. Skunk. Rollers. Oh. And Invader. Sure. They've donated already.
Yep. We will reach out after the stream to get your information. If you're through the extra life, we can contact you and let you know you won, or make sure we can get you the stuff to you.
Yeah.
No need to go through the awkward process of getting names and addresses through Twitch during the live stream. But yes,
All right.
spin the wheel, Alex.
I'm gonna pull the wheel up on the browser on the actual screen so everybody can see it.
Spin the wheel.
After. All right, everyone can see it right here. It's literally over our faces, so
Of
oh,
course it
great.
is.
And Jeep, thank you for the follow. All right, here we go, and the spin begins now. Oh, ooh, rollers! We have a winner. The rollers are. I can't pronounce it. I'm so horrible. But yes, they are winners. So we will reach out to you and
Yep.
get that mailed out to you. So let me close this out here. And so yeah, we will reach out to you and get the information, and then
Yep.
show them which dice they want.
It just was the big purple one.
All right, yeah. So thank you, by the way, for donating.
Yep.
And again, friendly reminder that 100% of the donations that you guys give today on the Extra Life page go directly to help the patients of Dornbecker Children's Hospital here in Portland, Oregon. So thank you.
Relia is how it's pronounced for the record, Alex.
Brilliant. Yes, I'll let you do that pronunciation because I'm so bad at it. But I don't want to butcher it, and I want to do it justice.
I still spell Cthulhu wrong half the time, so I'm no expert. But if it comes to saying Nyarlathotep, then I'm good. But yes, all right. So let's show them the remaining dice. They can win potentially through this if they donate. But then we'll get back to some more tales from the loop.
It just so happens I
Pop
have
those other dice up real quick.
All right, so that purple one is gone. That is
The
claimed.
purple one is gone. That is claimed.
We also have, let's see, we have
The
that
gold
nice
one that's similar.
gold one. Yes, that one's the one that's coming up next on the slideshow. After that, we have this really nice, pretty, clear, transparent with blue or purplish text, it looks like.
Purple, yeah.
Yeah, that one looks good. Nice little set there. And of course, we have the one in red.
Yep.
So those are our other ones. But that purple, that wonderful purple one is acclaimed.
The purple is also sparklier than the picture was. Like it's got some kind of, it's not as kind of vibrant as the gold one is, but it's got some spark flex in it, I guess is the right phrase for it. But they're all just fantastic looking dice. I am envious they're leaving my house. They've been wonderful to have around. But yes, back to Tales from the Loop.
All right.
So you are inside the ranger station. It's a tad musty from lack of windows being open. It just kind of, it's, yeah. Let's miss a John Deere tractor giveaway. No, we did not. Yes.
One of my guildies, Alfred.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, so you're in the ranger station. It has a bit of a smell to it. There's some indication that good old Ranger Rick has not been there in a couple days. You haven't really looked around all that hard. It's kind of the surface level, peripheral kind of, this is what's obviously gone down here a little bit stuff you've come across. What are you looking for, I guess? Like, what is the path of investigation? Like, you feel pretty confident that, yeah, Rick is, for lack of a better phrase, missing, but...
Charlie?
Are we about to go Delta Green, Alex?
Yeah! Someone donated $200! Holy shit! Michael Berry, thank you so much! They claimed the incentive, calling all agents. Time flashes forward and all the kids are now Delta Green agents. Oh, man! Charlie's so happy. He had a whole night
Really,
for this.
You gotta understand how hard it is for me to write non-Delta Green stuff now. Like, I had, like, okay, let's write this, then let's tone it back.
Oh, man, that is awesome. Thank you so much.
So much for keeping this kid friendly.
Yeah. Oh, we're getting real gritty now, baby. Yeah.
Using that mature stamp we stamp on everything now. All right, so we may come back to the kids, but Alex, Sam, it's now time to transition to our Delta Green space.
All right, let me basically pop out and pop back in. Goodbye, young Casey Jones, CJ.
Yep. Prepare to meet old Casey Jones, and or as I should call him, Agent Latch and Agent Lupine, respectively.
All right.
This is L-Cell.
L-Cell, perfect. All right, I gotta get a window here. Wow.
When we came up with this, I did not expect anyone to do this.
I didn't either. I was like, oh, well, we'll see where it goes.
We'll play some nice family-friendly Tales from the Loop. What's the worst that could happen? We'll throw this in there anyway. Oh, I'm so happy we're here.
All right, I am relaunching here to get the Delta Green side of things. Bear with us for a second, folks. Here.
Oh.
All right,
so glad I did this stuff.
Which one am I?
You are Agent Latch.
Okay.
And our dear Zeke grows up to be Agent Lupine. A little bit about our agents now that we've moved on from kiddom. Time has passed, or maybe no time has passed at all. We'll get into that in a quick second, though. The Zeke from this world has grown up to become a park ranger in a very weird way, spurred by...
Somebody in the chat said, should we wrap up what the kids were doing at least before we flash forward?
Oh no! The kids will come back!
Oh, okay.
I'm not done with the kids, necessarily.
Oh my.
This will make sense in a second. I promise this was the weirdest, bendiest Delta Green thing I've written so far, so...
Oh.
Only was the simplest time traveling. But yes, so... Zeke has grown up into Agent Lupine, a park ranger taking after Ranger Rick of some kind. Because of the strangeness that keeps happening south of Boring, Oregon, he was sworn to Delta Green. As a resident of Boring, he's seen many, many strange things. As a member of the Boring Ranger Force, if you will, encounters lots of weird things. He's become a bit of a veteran agent. He's been through some stuff. He's quite good at what he does. And then there's Agent Latch. Agent Latch chose to leave the town for a little bit and has come back as a distinguished Green Beret. Oh god, this thing's beeping like hell.
That's because I got to set the window, and so the chat wasn't filled in, so I was trying to get it out.
Gotcha. Yep. Totally
Oh,
get it.
thank you for the follow,
Yes.
by the way, Robbers and DG. They're people that I know from my WoW, all that stuff. So
Excellent. I'm glad they're enjoying this nightmare. So, a little bit about Delta Green. So, Delta Green is the X Files meets Call of Cthulhu meets lots of horrible, horrible stuff. And we're going to pick up in the exact same ranger station we just left off with Agent Lupine and Agent Latch called in by their handler. Their handler is the face of Delta Green as far as these two are concerned, and he's there with a special mission for them. The ranger station has become a bit of a Delta Green house, if you will. They enough weird stuff keeps happening in these woods across the last 30 years or so that they set up shop eventually. They have become a semi-permanent fixture in this very strange world they live in, and it's not like constant weirdness, but like every couple years someone goes missing. Every couple years, way too many Sasquatch happens. There's also been a new animal that's shown up in the woods by rumor. It's a 10-foot tall skeletal creature of some kind. It leaves a kind of a bear track, but as though the bear track has been stretched in unnatural ways. Like it's almost like someone took a bear and rather than scaling it up, took its skeleton, its flesh, and just kind of yanked it and pulled it into a larger creature of some kind. But reports of that one are scarce. A couple of random attacks that are truly grisly and horrific are attributed to this creature. But no one who's ever seen it up close has ever gotten a good picture. And also, various stories of floating rainbow colored glowing orbs persist to this day. We pick up with our agents. Well, Elcel, it's finally time. We finally believe we have narrowed down the weirdness here in Boring to something tangible we can deal with. We understand this has been a bit of a personal situation for all of you. That beloved local ranger going missing. You grew up around here. It's a fine time, if you will. I'll be blunt with you. This one's especially strange by our standards. A bit of a open mind required on this one, but it's not coming from this Borin. It's coming from a different Borin. As you've heard before, looking through these bubbles reveals something similar or something different. We started to piece the pieces together when someone had pictures of a fire through one of these bubbles. We confiscated the pictures. Don't worry about that. They've been dealt with. But over the last 30 years, we pieced together a bit of an understanding that whatever's happening, it's not coming from here. It's spilling over, if you will. And, well, I didn't make it back, but we have managed to establish how one successfully traverses from here to there. It's a bit of a one way trip, as best we can tell, but due to some careful usage of whiteboards and some signage markers to indicate they were capable of making it through, it turns out the rainbow bubbles are, well, they're not quite portals, but they function as them. Anything shoved inside of them gets stuck, and anything shoved from the other side, as best we can tell, that kind of winds up here. So we apologize for the potential one-way tripness of this, but we're going to ask you two to step inside one of the bubbles. We've managed to mathematically calculate down to roughly when these things show up every once in a while. Again, this is some real dumb pseudoscience, if you will, but we believe it's at a point where, in a cosmic sense, various places are close to each other. Using the principles of string theory and that whole kind of multi-dimensional shattered existence type of thing, we believe it's those rare points in history where this here boring overlaps ever so slightly with other borings, and in that time, the unnatural occurrences spike. Various bubbles show up, that bear thing people keep talking about goes on a rampage. Them goddamn deer with the eyes show up. You know, all the weird stuff you fled town to get away from, Agent Latch.
ah, alrighty. Am I going solo here, or what's going on?
Now, we brought you two together, safety in numbers. Sadly, we felt that you two were the ones to send through on this one. Personal stake in the town. We're not quite sure how this works, but we're hoping at least it'll be like stepping into another version of boring. Any historical information or local knowledge will hopefully translate. Stuff may be slightly changed. After all, we don't really get how this works, but
Or I guess. This is a
I'll
one-way
leave you
trip.
to it.
Yes.
We hope not, but at the same time, worst comes to worst, you become the latest residents of some other boring. We thank you for your service, and you will be remembered as best you can in our little clandestine secretive service, if you will.
Do we have means of communication, or if we need to get any messages back?
None that we've established yet, but we felt it was a time to not let a golden opportunity such as this slip through our fingers. One might say time is of the essence, and we should pounce upon the situation to make progress on this one. If we could finally solve the problem of the southern boring woods, it would be a boon to eliminating some of these ongoing headaches for our organization.
All right. So no means of communication, and we've made no contact with anything outside of the bubble. Right.
Well, as I said, we sent a team through and they were capable of holding up some signs that indicated they made it alive and well to the opposite side, but getting back reliably has not been established. So I'd say this would be a one-way trip. Admittedly, we picked you given your we'll call it familiar situations not being as strong as maybe some other ones out there. We do apologize. It's probably a one-way trip, but as we all know, sacrifices occasionally must be made.
Just to make sure my family's taken care of. Uh, I'm in. Oh,
We will do our best to do so. After all, we can't say what happened to you, but we can make sure to get your pension and whatnot if so applicable.
plan. When do we roll out?
As soon as possible. You'll have to spend some time out in the woods to establish a bubble, and then it's jumping on through, if you will.
All right. So I'm going to look over, and I guess initially I'm not going to recognize that it's Z. So I'm just going to kind of look
Yeah,
over
I'm
and be
not sure.
like,
I'm not
yeah.
sure in this timeline you two ever became friends. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so in this timeline we're not. Ah, okay.
Okay.
Delta
Interesting.
Green is what brought you together for this little horrible operation.
Okay. Okay. I like this. I like this. Okay. So I'm gonna look over and say, yeah. Let me know when you're ready to go. I got some few things to take care of, but want to meet?
I've got nothing keeping me around.
All right. Well, shall we?
Yeah, and your handler kind of tosses over kind of two mountaineering backpacks to you. We've taken everything we can give you: ammo, food rations, all that stuff. Some tents. We're not expecting what to find on the opposite side, but we're hoping you can maintain a low profile till you establish what is going on.
All right. Let's roll out. So
As as always, good hunting.
so I start heading out towards the. Do you have a general? Actually, yeah. Do you have a general idea, or general area in mind that you wanted us to go to
Just the
specifically?
It's just the South Woods. It appeared like kind of it's like okay, actually, yeah, we've like pulled out a map, slapped it down. This seems to be the concentration area, and maybe some rolls now because Delta Green's all about the rolls. Someone give me a navigate roll. You both should have navigates through the roof if I remember correctly. Actually, what are those stats at?
My navigate's at 50.
And mine. I'm trying to find it.
Should be on the right bottom side of the skill list, if I remember
Also,
correctly.
one thing to keep in mind for any future dice rolls,
Yep.
we have one in
40.
the chamber for a let the Wookiee win. By the way,
Yep.
so I believe that was the Demon Skunk. At any point while we're doing this, you can choose to pass one of those rolls because you donated $10. So I want to make sure we keep that in the chamber and don't forget.
Oh, you'll need it now that we're playing Delta Green. Oh, you'll need it.
All right, cool. So then, do we just head on over then, or you doing
Yeah,
here?
so with the high navigate, the map, you're kind of looking at this, and while it is kind of a scatter shot of various locations that they have managed to track and kind of tag unnatural events, a couple of them have the words "the damn deer" written next to them. It does kind of almost make an arrow that seems to funnel towards a deeper part of the woods. It's not an exact one; it's not like an obvious straight line, but there is kind of a wedge shape that does seem to kind of be like if it was like almost like a blast pattern, like a shotgun blast, it would kind of originate to that. So you're guessing anywhere inside that triangle, that kind of shot isn't a bad place to look.
We're going to the woods version of of like a Bermuda Triangle. All right. So then I'll look over. Oh, I'll look over to was it was it Agent Lupine?
Yep.
All right. So I'll look
Yep.
over to Lupine and say, oh, this looks awfully convenient. I kind of point on the map the way the triangle formation shows up and say, let's start here.
And I'd say
Alright.
Agent Lupine would know, like, yeah, the
Yeah, I know
triangle
that
is the thing.
area.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So let's go. So I just start grabbing my gear and
Yeah.
start hoofing it.
Yeah. You're both
Yeah.
obnoxiously in shape individuals in this. So you hike and you get deep into the woods. You probably make about an hour out. And yeah, you eventually find one of these rainbow bubbles is kind of floating about 2 feet off the ground. This one's much bigger than the other versions of you've encountered. This one's like 12 feet wide, and it's showing the same woods, but like healthier, fluffier. The trees look healthier. There's less down stuff. Again, looking at it through what you're seeing, it's where you are, give or take, but better if that makes any sense. Like those, like not as many fallen trees. The sky looks a little bit bluer.
So I'm gonna kind of look around and kind of just have a little bit of a nostalgic moment, considering that this is where my character grew
Yep.
up, and just kind of look around and hey, Randy. Sorry, I had somebody in chat say hi. Oh. A lot of my folks that like from my WoW Guild and friends that I know from WoW have popped in. Cool. So thank you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll look over at Lupine and kind of just start to casually chat about how this is all very familiar. I remember volunteering here as a kid and helping out when I was going to school. So I look over and kind of yeah, yeah, this kind of brings me back when I was here kid in school. You know, I'd come out to the forest and hang out, and I'd go enjoy some pizza at the arcade. And yeah, been a long time.
That was a good arcade.
Wait, you grew up here?
Yeah, I've lived here my whole life. I mean, I left a little bit to take some other ranger schools in some other parts of the states, but mostly been here.
Did you know Ranger Rick?
Yeah, he he disappeared. My whole life I've been trying to figure out what happened to him.
Huh. What are the
I
chances that
imagine
they
that it
would?
was one of the bubbles was one of my thoughts, but no proof of that.
What a small world. Huh. If Delta Green did that on. Hmm. Well, anyway, at least as long as you're familiar with the area, that'll be really helpful for the both of us. So,
No,
uh,
as long as it's the same there as here. Like the back of my hand.
all right. Well, that's good to know. So we'll keep walking further and further towards the woods area, and so I'd like to do a search to see if there's any signs of bubbles as we're walking towards the kind of our location that we set on the map.
Well, you found one. You're at
Yeah,
kind of
we're
one larger
giant
bubble.
bubble.
Yeah, you're at a bubble.
Oh, we're at a bubble already.
Yeah, you're at a bubble.
Okay. Is it again high up or is it like ground level?
No, this, like I said, it's 2 feet off the ground. Like getting into this thing will be
And
much easier
12,
than previous
12
ones.
feet around.
It's
Okay.
big. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna grab a rock that's nearby and just kind of throw it through the bubble really quick just to see if it does the same thing as the other ones have done.
Yeah, same thing you've established. So this one, so this is where it gets a little bit interesting. So this one kind of it hits the wall, it slows down, and then it kind of flies and lands faster on the other side pretty quickly.
Oh, okay. So I look over to Lupine and say, "Well, I'll dive in first, and if you don't see me come out on the other side, I guess feel free to abort." So I'll take a deep breath, and with my gear, I take do a nice little dive through the the bubble.
All right, so yeah, you hit the wall of this bubble, and as I've described before, it's not quite liquid, it's not quite solid. It's like diving into a large pool of jello or some type of slimy liquid. So you hit it at full speed, like it's not like hitting a wall, but like you kind of feel it envelop and you slow down for it feels like hours, but probably only a couple seconds pass as you move through this thing. We're gonna get to a sand check in a second, so obviously you're not gonna do this unscathed, but kind of like and it's icy cold. Like you feel just reality kind of on your face, just fingers dragging across, both trying to pull you back, but also the other ones trying to pull you through. And there's no sound, but you emerge on the opposite side, feeling like you've passed through just a strange amount of suction. Like you feel invisible tendrils from the world you just walked out of
Ugh.
trying to pull you back. Like you feel just hundreds of tiny needle thickness tentacles snap off of your body. Give me a sand check.
All right, sand check time.
All right, so for those who don't know, as we're doing this, Delta Green is a percentile based game. It is an offshoot of Call of Cthulhu. And there's a sanity mechanic, which is also kind of your health bar. And with 7%, so in Dutch, you're trying to get as low a number as possible. You're trying to roll under a number of your percentile skill. In the case of Agent Latchy, his sanity is 50, which means he wants to get below a 50 with this to succeed. So, yeah,
50. So that's a success. And then also, if you get like 11 or 22 or 33, where you have the double numbers, it's a critical success. And vice versa, if I were to roll anything above 50 and it was like a 55, 66, 77, that's a critical failure. So just
we
so,
call them fumbles.
yeah,
Yeah.
fumbles. And man, there are some real bad fumbles that happen in some of these games. But
Yeah.
yeah, so this one passed.
Yeah, like you feel cold and hot and slimy and sticky and dry and all these sensations all at once. They pass once you're kind of standing on the opposite side. And yeah, and you appear to be kind of in the same place you were previously. You could even see the bubble behind you is Agent Lupine, just kind of standing there patiently.
Okay. So if you can see me, I kind of just look over Lupine through the bubble and just kind of wave and do a thumbs up.
Yeah, it's like looking through a very bizarre, not mirror, but like window of some kind. Yeah, it's you can see each other in live time, for lack of a better phrase.
Okay, cool.
Oh,
Uh, but
seeing
oh, go ahead.
seeing that he got through unscathed, I'll go take a look into the woods around the bubble, uh, as just one final time, and
Yeah,
just to see if there's any wildlife around or anything like that before deciding to instead of run, he's going to do more of just like walk into it
yeah.
calmly.
Yeah, so the same sensation of kind of two worlds pulling at your very being happen. I'm not going to go through the whole explanation a second time, but yeah, the same kind of you emerge feeling like suction was trying to pull you in two directions simultaneously. Give me a sand check as well, because you just step between realities.
And that's just hitting sandy points.
Yep, just click sanity, and it should roll it.
All right.
Great. Got a 14 out of 45, so that's a success.
You are both men that are very accustomed to this type of weirdness, apparently, somehow. Excellent. Yeah, so you emerge into the woods, and given your park ranger background, you are struck. Like the woods haven't looked like this in this neck of the woods for years. Like they're lush, they're well kind of fed via water. Like uh, it's been a while since they looked this healthy. Like there's a thickness to the forest at this point that just hasn't happened in the last few decades as things got hotter and more trees died.
So I kind of just do a nice little like look around and take it all in? Does the air smell fresher too and all that, or is it very much like because of the lushness? Like,
Yeah, it smells more like forest, I guess. Like in this, like I'm not sure how like forest scent increases, but again, like it's just this is a healthier forest, if you will. Like just the this is what the pine tree air fresheners were trying to pull off that now kind of feel fake in the modern era. It's like, oh yeah, no forest smells like this anymore. Like if I had to say, it's like 70% trees more or something like that. Like it's apparent to both of you having lived here just how much healthier and maybe not happier, but like better off the forest is at this point in time or place.
so I kind of just do a double check on myself to see if I've got all my bearings, everything looks
Yeah.
good. I look over to Lupine and just kind of signal, "Hey, you good?"
In one piece.
All right. Uh, let's head back to you know where the radio station's at, right?
Yeah, that's just north of here.
Okay. Well,
Ways.
Let's start there.
Yeah, so you make your way to the ranger station. It's easy enough to do. You've been there, in case of Ranger Lupine's case, hundreds of times. And you approach, and this is the first strange thing you encounter. There's a bunch of kids kind of standing around this thing looking bored. Most look like delinquents, like they're there against their will, but they're dressed in dated clothing. But the dated clothing look new, like they're the current look of this time, and it's stuff you recognize and remember from when you were younger, around the ages you were kind of 13, 14, 15. Give me a sand check at this, because it's definitely proof of something kinky happening.
Okay. Go ahead and do your stand. Oh,
Bullets!
Only 1 point of sand damage. This is not terrible. You were kind of expecting something like this.
6 success.
All right, so Agent Lupine, you take 1 point of sand damage. Agent Latch, you're fine through all of this, but yeah, you're both used to some weird. This is some 80s looking stuff all of a sudden. Like the car is of that time, it's new looking, like the ranger station didn't go through that paint upgrade that happened in the 90s. It's still that kind of older retro style look it had at one point. And all the kids around the ranger station are kind of excitedly chattering about how two of the kids somehow broke into the ranger station and how'd they get in.
So I'm gonna kind of look over there, um, and I'm gonna look over to Lupine and say, "Me or did this is very 80s. This is not, huh?" I'm definitely not going to approach though. I'm like in my distance at the moment.
Yeah, I will say, you guys are dressed as 30 years have passed. Like all the gear you have is of 30 years in the future. Like the weapons you brought with you are a little bit newer. Your boots are a little bit newer. Your clothing wouldn't really blend in all that well.
Hmm. Okay. Um, I know you said there was a vehicle nearby we could see, right?
Yeah,
Within range.
the truck is there. Ranger Rick's truck is there.
Okay. Do I have uh binoculars in my kit?
Yeah, you do.
Okay. So I want to kind of move around the forest area and get a good view of the license plate.
Sure.
So do I need to roll a search or anything like that for it, or?
Nah, that's easy enough to see. There's no, you're not under duress right now. You're fine.
Okay. So one of the things I notice, obviously, is license plates have a sticker that you put on
Yep.
that indicates the year that it expires, and so I look over and I notice that the expiration date on it.
It is the year 1980 something on that license plate.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I signal over to Lupine. I'm like, look at this, and I hand over the binoculars. Like, look at the license plate.
Take a look at it. That can't be right. That is.
Either that car's been abandoned out here for a real long time, or
Is it the Ranger vehicle?
yeah, it's the
Yes,
Ranger's
you would
vehicle.
recognize. Yeah, I'd also say Lupine probably recognizes that vehicle as the one they had to replace 15 years ago, as they finally kind of got too run down.
I know that car.
What do you mean you know that car?
That's the old Ranger's car. We got rid of it 15 years ago. So phasing it out, it was getting a little old.
Did you drive it
Same
into the
paint job.
bubble or something?
No,
How the hell would that be here?
I mean if it's the same place, but why is it older? Like, oh, everything's just so 80s. It's painful.
Well, we need to scope out what's, but I don't want to track it. Do I have anything in my kit that would make a lot of noise that could scare off kids?
You have a gun.
I don't want to open fire into the air with a gun with kids nearby.
You probably have some flares or something. Like
Well, flares would probably start a fire. I don't want to.
I guess it's like shooting a round off into the air will definitely scare the kids and won't like be an act of aggression. But at the same time, like you didn't bring a bunch of firecrackers with you. That wouldn't be normal, Kit.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. So I'll. I think in my kit I have a. Was it
You
medium
could just
handgun
come
here?
like running out of the woods screaming, and that might scare some of the kids off. Like there's no adult around.
I'd rather not let them see me, so I'm gonna
That's fair.
fire. I'm gonna fire a single shot into the ground near me, just to kind of scare them off. So I'll go ahead and fire off a shot.
Yeah. All right. So the kids hear that and just well, like they're like, no, I don't have to be here. Ranger Rick's not here. They just run and kind of from inside the cabin. You hear two voices kind of like, "Oh shit, was that a gunshot?" Like, and one of them comes running out the door, kind of trying to follow the rest of the crowd. The other one kind of quickly follows him a little bit slower, leaving the front door to this place open.
All right. So once they've cleared out, I look over to Lupin and say, "Well, that's one way to clear them out, shall we?"
Not how I would have done it, but
Well,
got it done.
we got the result. So I holster my gun and I start heading towards the still carefully because I don't know if any kids might have stayed afterwards or come back,
Yeah,
but I will very carefully head towards the ranger station and the truck.
yeah. Place seems pretty abandoned. Like it's not a kind of a major part of town, so the kids have cleared out by now. Definitely.
Okay. So I look over to Lupin and say, anything here also look familiar?
I mean, it's the Ranger station. A
Yeah.
few older coat of paint.
Hmm. So I want to check around the inside of the ranger station to see if there's any signs of like maybe Ranger Rick leaving a note behind or anything odd of that nature. Just basically to see if I can date how long it's been since Ranger Rick has gone.
Yeah, so you're kind of you kind of find the exact same stuff you found previously. It's a calendar that shows check days off up to 3 days ago on it. Some food slowly going bad. Now that you're a bit older and a little more used to this, you're kind of recognizing there's some other things missing, like some survival gear got taken, some kind of general camping stuff you might take if you were doing some more exploratory stuff. That seems to be missing kind of from obvious spots. You will also thankfully find some ranger uniforms you can change into from the modern era if you want to try and blend in a little bit better.
Perfect. So
Yeah,
I'll grab a set of gear from there and I'll just throw on the ranger outfit and I'll hand
Yeah.
the other one over to Lupine. Uh, and kind of look over once I'm like dressed and be like, do I fit the part? How do I look?
look like a bona fide Ranger.
All right. Would it be weird to
All
head
right.
into town with these outfits?
No, I mean the other Rangers missing could just say that we are up as new Rangers.
Hmm.
I don't think people really care that much.
Do we need any badges? Like, do you guys carry badges? I don't know.
They do.
Okay. So
They
I
have
look like,
badges.
Yeah,
well,
pay badges.
you have your badge on you from work?
Yeah, but I mean, it's not going to be much use.
Way too new looking.
Ah, damn.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll just have to
But I don't
pretend.
think many people really check that stuff. It's
Who would pretend to be a park ranger?
Fair enough.
but,
So
my concern is our money. I have nothing but new bills. I don't think anything's going to work if it's sometime in the 80s.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna search and see if there's like any money that he left, maybe his wallet or something, because I don't think he took his wallet off the woods.
Nah, you don't find a wallet.
Okay. I definitely don't want to punk kids out of their money. That would be very mean.
Yes. Stealing money from kids on a live stream intended to raise money for kids.
I've already fired a shot to the ground to scare the bomb.
I thought we would get far. I thought you shoot it off in the air at a tree or something. You made it. You shot it to the ground. As always, I never make you guys terrible. You make yourselves terrible all on your own.
I didn't shoot the ground they were standing at. I shot the ground near me. Don't do that to me.
It's fair. No, it's shooting the ground. That's completely fair. Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Nah, yeah. So no money in the place, but also maybe there's something in his truck or something. Like you do find the truck keys on a peg.
Okay. So I look around the truck.
Yeah, so I'll say the most important thing you find after kind of a more involved search is you do find kind of a report book, if you will, kind of just like a notations of various phenomena or occurrences that have happened, and you have some reports from the local logging company complaining about kind of a bunch of trees getting knocked over by something big that kind of crashed into it or something, and whatever, if you will. No one kind of deals into that much. Boring logging. There's a couple notes about how boring logging's prone to complaining. Like they get mad when a tree knocks another tree over and they didn't do it. But also that the Sasquatch hunters have been going through the roofs in September. Like they've had a bunch more sightings of Sasquatch out in the woods.
We'll look over to Lupine and say, "Oh, what's the Sasquatch situation here? You deal with these people fairly often?"
All the time. People are obsessed.
Well, now we've got to watch out for not just that, but crazy. So fun.
Well, at least no one's got camera phones anymore. Hopefully.
Oh, that's true. They don't have camera phones, which means we can probably be a little bit more. Or, sorry, persuasive.
Delta Green gets dark so quickly.
Thank you, Michael Berry, by the way, for setting this off.
You
I
did
appreciate
this.
you so much.
You did this.
All right, so
yeah. So what's the plan? You're not gonna kind of go off to town at this point. See if you can find some leads. You could probably recreate the triangle from the map you saw pretty easily, kind of with whatever he's got around here. What's the plan at this point?
I was.
Can I, looking at the stuff that was missing, can I figure out like how long of a trek he had been planning to leave for?
Yeah, you'd probably say like an emergency night kit for like if you got stuck out overnight or something. Yeah, like he wasn't planning on being gone for many days, if not even like a full day. This was just a hey, if it starts raining, I'm out in the woods type of situation. I can set up camp and hunker down for the evening and not kind of freeze to death by accident. Yeah, overnight survival gear, not extended stay survival gear. Good question though. Yeah.
So I know cell phones
about
aren't working, obviously.
nope.
I'm curious. Technically, we would had the call or basically like recent calls or something like that that maybe have a contact number for our handler or anything like that. Maybe like a Delta Green line. This is just a guess, but could we try? Like, is there a phone in the room?
Yeah, that's a phone you could use to try and call Delta Green if you wanted to.
Yeah, I figured, you know what, just for the hell of it, I'm sure Delta Green has been around for a long time. So I look over to Lupine and I say, what are the chances that if I call, like, the number that we have for like Delta Green stuff that somebody would actually answer on the other side.
I don't even know what their old numbers were like.
See, because
You
we
try
had
it.
we had people come over, which leads me to believe they have some sort of means of, or they should have set some sort of way we can reach out to whoever crossed.
We didn't we didn't find out if that other team was still out here.
Well, they never made it back, so I would assume they're still here somewhere. Probably blending in. Who knows? So I'll try to just randomly call the whatever like line we had for Delta Green if we had one.
Yeah, so you go through that whole process and it rings through. Hey, you got Tony's subs. What can I get you?
Um, I like to place an order for pickup. I just which where are you guys located at?
Jersey.
Oh, Jersey. Uh, wrong number. Bye. Hang up. The some
I don't think the sub's going to help us in this one.
not unless we're hungry and in Jersey. So okay. Well, no. I mean, let's head into town. I guess we got a car, so
Yep, that's something.
hmm. Kind
You
of,
heading to town?
yeah. Head into town.
Yeah, so kind of in the glove compartment, you do find Ranger Rick's wallet. That's where he stashed it. Why would he bother bringing it to the ranger station even? Like, it's the car's how he goes into town.
Fair. Is there any money in the wallet?
A little bit, yeah, but again, the guy's a ranger in the 80s. He's not exactly rolling in it at this point in time.
Does he have a credit card or
Nah, that's not really a thing that's super popular just yet,
okay?
especially in these more rural communities. All right, so you're driving into town, and we'll say like 90% of the town looks as you remember it from being a kid. But so remember, you have stepped into the loopiverse. So occasionally there's just a couple strange things. Like maybe the street lamps are a little too advanced looking, like they have LEDs every once in a while here with a little bit thing, kind of a little more frequency. Some of the cars have kind of functionality on them that's a little bit too new. Like not all cars, but like maybe there's a street sweeper that's a little bit kind of too functionally interesting looking. Maybe you see the occasional kind of hovering device of some kind. Most importantly, the town is a hell of a lot bigger than it was when you were kids. Like easily two or three times the size. Like it's much more established, much more built up. A lot more people live there. The buildings are bigger. They're more well kept. And you kind of drive by as you're going into town. There's this large, kind of brutal looking cement building that on a simple sign reading out front of it reads HCE technology in kind of parentheses. Let me get the exact name for this. Hogan Carver Eagle Technologies.
All right, and that's the actual like building area. That's like the loop building, if you will, in town.
Your characters would not necessarily know that, but
Okay,
yes, that is Hogan Carver Eagle Technologies is the loop in it is Boring, Oregon's loop
okay.
facility.
So I look over to Lupine and this is not all. You even heard of this before?
No, I never remember any big technology, whatever that is.
Huh. Well, hmm, let's keep moving. Let's check out this building. I don't know if maybe they would have. He figured Delta Green agents would probably go somewhere that's like not doesn't blend in, if you will, in a way, but kind of would stand out. This place looks like they might. Um, I check. Does Ranger Rick have radios in the?
Yeah, it's got
So
radios. Ian, now that you kind of have a supply spot for basic stuff, I'll give you access to kind of the Delta Green hand wavy. Yeah, you got radios now. It's fine.
okay, so I'm gonna hand over one of the radios over to Lupine and kind of touch. Yeah, let's we can stay in contact. We'll have cell phone. Let's check this place.
Yep.
And so yeah, I guess well, who's driving? Well, I'll just say Lupine's driving. He's the more
Doesn't matter
ranger.
for
Yeah.
what we're doing
He's
right
the
now.
more
So
ranger official. So I'll
Yeah.
yeah.
we'll
So
park
you're
and
going to Harvard Carver Eagle Technologies?
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So you can drive right up the front. There's a big kind of glass entry lobby you go into. It's very 80s science facility, if you will, kind of that like not great beige color on a bunch of the walls type of thing. There's a front desk, one behind it. Hi there, can I help you? Welcome to HCE.
Hi, yeah. We saw this strange sighting, and we wanted to know if you guys I just wanted to talk to one of the folks around here. Works with someone like I don't know some of the tech around here. Want to do a tour, if you will.
Do you have an appointment of some kind? Anyone can tell that you're here to meet with?
No, we're just kind of visiting. First time here. Just
New Rangers
yeah.
wanting to get to know the town.
Oh, are they replacing Ranger Rick? That's sad. We've had a good relationship with him for the last few years.
Oh no, Ranger Rick's a good guy. But I just think he might be looking into early retirement or something. Who knows? But he's kind of showing us around a little bit and told us we should check this place out.
Understood. Well, welcome to Boring, I suppose. You said you had a sighting out there of some kind you wanted to invent. You wanted to talk to someone about.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys happen to have any tech stuff going on out there. I can't really. I don't even know what it was, but it looks something that just isn't really foresty. I was wondering if you guys also, just so we are aware and we know, like maybe like this just you guys have some tech out there that isn't catching us off guard. It's not
Oh,
really
I
from around
see. I
here.
see. Yes, yes. I tell you what. I'll get you in touch with kind of decimal tapping. Michael Wraith. He's the head of our recovery department here. If there's something that crashed down out in the woods or something like that, he'd probably be the one to know about it. Did something bad happen? I don't understand. We have any situations going on right now.
No, 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 nothing bad happened. I just want to make sure that like if you guys had stuff out there that you guys get it back because it's tech stuff and I'm sure it's expensive and you guys
Oh,
would want
much.
to
Yeah,
reclaim it.
yeah. I understand completely. Yes, we can absolutely. Yeah, of course. It kind of like does some tapping, calls a phone call, and a very serious looking man eventually joins you in the lobby. He's dressed where the receptionist was dressed kind of casually and of the time. This guy's dressed not quite military, but kind of almost like scientist military, if you will, like very starched outfit, not quite a uniform that you recognize, but very evocative of kind of that 80s Bond villain aesthetic, if you will, kind of that very tragic. It's not a jumpsuit, but it's totally a jumpsuit. The guy meets you, kind of extends a stiff kind of hand. I'm Michael Wraith. I hear you're asking about something that may be out in the woods. We don't have any active projects out there right now.
Okay. Yeah, we had not necessarily. I wouldn't even call it an incident, but we did have something out there. And I just it's a little bit out of our expertise. We're ranger folk, so just
New
want
to the area.
yeah. So just wanted to get some eyeballs out there to see if maybe it's some tech that you guys have that might have just gotten misplaced out there or something. You don't really want to mess with it, because if it's yours, we don't want to mess with any of your stuff.
No, no, we appreciate the discretion on this one. We've had nothing come down lately. We're out there for testing. Maybe another collider in a couple of weeks. It was probably just a bear or a deer or something like that. Don't worry about it.
I don't think it's a bear. We're bear is a little bit more of our forte, and we would know if it was a bear if we saw one. But is there anybody you can send out with us to kind of get some eyeballs out here on what this might be?
Uh, yes, I suppose we could send a team of some kind out there to take a look if it means that much. If you're not sure what you saw, though, and you're not sure and we don't have anything out there, I'm not sure why we'd be sending a team out. Both of you can give me a human int right now, or human intelligence.
I will,
Actually, what are your human intelligences at?
mine is at 40.
Oh,
Oh, that's a fumble.
50.
Oof.
Yeah.
And mine is 17 success.
All right, so Agent Latch, you know this guy is lying through his teeth. This is no, there's nothing weird out there in the woods. There's absolutely nothing strange going on at all. But Agent Lupin, you're kind of nodding along, like, okay, yeah. Why would this weird company I've never heard of from where I'm from possibly not want us to go into the woods
Yeah.
and not want to be like, why would we send a team out there? Yeah, no, if you're buying it, Agent Latch, you're not. But yeah, this guy is obviously like something in the woods. I've never heard of the woods before. Why would you ask me about the woods? No one goes into the woods from this facility. I'm not even sure our facility extends into that chunk of the woods. It does, but you can't prove it does. Very not helpful kind of thing. Like, yeah, telling you what you want to hear across the board. Yeah, we'll totally send someone out. No, there's no one out there. Nothing's crashed in the woods ever. Why are you asking questions? Like, go away now. But being very polite and nice about it, but also, you know, when someone's lying like this.
Yeah. So did he agree to send some folks out there already or no?
He said he's going to.
Okay. So I'll look over to Lupine and then look back at the guy and say, could we get someone out there today, perhaps? Like, we don't mind driving them there with us, kind of
We'll
thing.
dispatch a team when a team needs to go out. Actually, I could send 2 men with you if you want to take them where you saw the thing, where you're so concerned about right now. If you want.
Yeah, that would be great. I look over to Lupine and say, yeah, I think that would
Yeah.
work, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, it works for us.
cool. Just before, like, we have some folks from out of town or whatever, and they're Sasquatch hunting. You know how people are obsessed with Sasquatch, so don't want them to go there and find your stuff accidentally and mess with it. So just want to make sure you guys are all squared away here.
Sure.
Be a shame if like somebody out there pulls stuff out and it was your stuff.
Understood. If that's all, I'll kind of like gets on the phone that's attached to the reception desk, makes a phone call, and kind of 2 similarly dressed gentlemen join you in the lobby. I can send these 2 men with you. I'm sure it's nothing out there.
Okay, sounds good. Uh, Lupine. This is. Oh, shit. I don't want to say Lupine.
It's a legitimate last name.
Yeah.
Okay, Ranger.
Ranger Lupine.
Ranger Lupine. You want to? Shall we?
Yeah.
All right.
Why
So we'll jump on there. I'll ride in the back because it's a truck, right? You said that it was.
They are very insistent about both of you riding in the front.
Hmm. So I look over and it would be very rude of me if I didn't offer up the cabin. It's just it's a personal thing. I'll ride in the back. It's all good.
Uh, they are very insistent about how both of you should ride in the front. You can try and do a persuade out in the parking lot, though, but they are unbelievably insistent about how you should be the ones in the front.
All right. I'm gonna roll persuade.
Yep.
All right.
And so as I roll this, I will say, no, please. I would feel like I don't have manners if I didn't offer it up. And a 2% success.
So you hem and you haw and you argue and you go back and forth for quite some time, but eventually one of them is like, fine, I'll take the passenger seat, and kind of sits up there with Agent Lupine who's driving, but they're not happy about it.
Okay. So I'll say, okay, well, thank you for at least accepting the offer. I would feel guilty if I just, rode in the cabin. So I'll go ahead and jump in the back and I'll sit at an angle against like the back of the truck so I can see all 3 people, if you will.
Sure.
So
Yeah. Yeah, it's so where you going?
let's head back to I'm guessing we're heading back to the ranger station.
Yep. All right, so on your way there, you notice something that you did not notice on your way back or way towards the town, I guess, because you have no reason to think it was weird. There are 2 large HCE trucks parked in kind of one of the various parking lots. for the woods, for the national park attached to that.
Hmm. So yeah, I will. Is there one really close to this ranger station, or is it just like on the way there?
Not near the ranger station. You pass them kind of in like parking lots where you get access to the rest of the woods, like just parking lots for the actual hiking areas and stuff like that. Not at the ranger station though.
Oh, hold on. We got another dono. Hold on.
What do we get?
Let's see. Let's add 4 more to the chamber for let the Wookiee win, and 1 bummer man. Uh, with the note that specifically says make sure you put the bummer on something with quote unquote fun consequence.
Oh, we got one coming up then. Cool.
So yeah, so we've got four of yeah, they donated $53, so thank you. Yeah, we've got 4 let the Wookiee win. Mind you, we still have 1 originally, so we have a total of 5
Yep.
rolls that get passed, and then 1 bummer. And the bummer one specifically with the note saying pick a spot when it's really fun consequences, Charlie.
Oh, I got one then.
All right.
Um,
So I will, as we're heading over, I will notice the trucks, and obviously since I can't really signal to
yeah.
Lupine.
I'd say you both know about the trucks. Like they're not
Okay.
exactly subtle trucks. Again, this is the '80s. This is a legitimate local companies for like, it employs probably half the town. You wouldn't know this because you're not from here, but your Loop characters would have known that this thing, HCE, is a big employer. Like everyone trusts HCE. They're a big company around town. Like they employ most of the people. Most of the people have jobs. Most parents work peripherally with it. Probably.
Okay.
It's been good to boring.
Cool. As we're heading over, I kind of wanted the other guy who was in the truck with me. Um, I guess just to kind of eyeball it, does he look like he has anything on him? Considering these guys were really aggressive about that whole thing. I do a
He's got a
search.
variety of cargo pockets. Or like he is security-ish looking staff. It looks like he has a sidearm of some kind on him, but
That's
that's not
fine.
inherently super suspicious.
Okay, I was wondering if he was armed or not. So
Yeah,
okay, cool. So do we get to the ranger station now, or
yeah. You get there, nothing happens yet, or nothing has weirdly happened.
nothing happens yet? Oh my god. Okay, so
I'm sorry, you played Delta, but I love messing with you people this way.
I know. All right. So then we will. Well, I'll jump out the truck and kind of point to the general area where we saw the bubble, and look over to Forest Ranger Lupine. And I remember it was somewhere around that direction, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was however many miles it was.
Okay. You guys up for hoofing it a little bit, or I don't know how far we can get the truck into here. It's probably gonna be
They're
pretty
not super
difficult. So.
talkative. They kind of nod at this and go fine, whatever. And like, yeah, they start. The truck won't make it, type of thing. You're gonna have to hike it definitely.
Okay. So I guess we'll start heading over there and hiking it.
Yeah.
I'm going
Yes,
to hang on to the keys.
Yeah. And I guess I'm guessing the way they were so hesitant about sitting in the front of the truck, they definitely
They
don't want to.
really try hard to always be behind you while you're hiking.
I
Yeah, it's
figured.
not so
Yeah.
achievable because you're hiking, but yeah, eventually you hike out quite a ways, and about an hour or two in, type of thing, you kind of reach a point where you haven't found anything. There's no bubble yet or anything like that. But you find a spot where like you start seeing the tops of trees have been snapped off as almost like something like crashed down to earth over an elongated kind of trajectory. Like it's you can see it like shooting off, and like again, like based on your knowledge of the previous map and your time spent in these woods and all that knowledge that goes with it, you're in the triangle, and there's been and in the version of the triangle you're used to, the trees are not like this, but in this triangle there's a literal triangle type of thing going on. Like there's literally something shot through the tops of trees at an angle going somewhere.
Oh my.
Yeah.
S-
And the guys see this, they look at you, they kind of acknowledge this. They kind of like encourage you to keep going forward.
so I will keep moving forward, and I will kind of just like as I'm walking, I will kind of signal to Lupine and be like, "You guys don't seem like they're. I don't. And so yeah, I just gotta whisper, keep moving.
All right, so you make it you make it further in. Eventually, you do come across again like this collision through these trees is slowly angling down as you kind of follow the path it left, and eventually you come across not one bubble but a series of like 1 inch to like 8 inch kind of various versions of the bubbles kind of floating around amongst a bunch of trees. There's kind of these are much smaller than ones you've seen. You've never seen this many in one location before either. Each one's kind of a little look into some other version of the forest. Both of you give me an alertness check.
Oh, happening.
Uh,
All right, alertness.
Yep.
All right,
I
Sam.
want to use one of those in the chamber.
All right.
Oh, one of the let was it? Is it
Yeah.
let the
All right.
Wookiee
So that's
win?
one. So you're gonna use one of the Wookiee win. All right. So you get to pass
Yeah.
your alertness. I need one from Agent Latch still.
Right. Oh, I fumbled.
I'm not gonna let you burn one of those for a fumble. You have to.
No, no, I'll take that.
It's
I'll take
all
that.
right. All right. So Agent Lupine, give me a dodge.
Oh no! It begins.
It begins.
Oh.
All right, so I'm not sure which is worse on this one. One of you is caught completely unawares. Agent Lupine, you managed to turn fast enough to see these two people kind of snap batons out of their wrists, and they both just take a swing at both of you, which I'll be rolling once the system lets me. All right, so they both kind of managed to successfully miss as this happens. So they both kind of whiz by your heads, just not great. And the one attacking Agent, I want to call it Foxtrot, but Agent Latch, he kind of extra misses. Like he overswings and kind of stumbles into these woods. They're not trained for the woods. Like this is beyond their normal security details. But yeah, the jig is up. How do you two respond in the moment, kind of after these guys try and attack you?
Um, I'm gonna pull out my gun. I have a handgun
All right.
on me, so
So, yeah, so you're lying on the ground. Yep, you both have handguns.
yep. So I pull out my handgun and I aim right at the dude who swung at me.
All right. Let's see that firearms.
Can I just roll it from the button here for the weapon roll?
Should be able to.
98% failure. Wow.
Do you want to?
No. We'll let that.
I mean, it makes sense. You're on the ground, like
Yeah.
you're it's surprise at this point. Yeah, you not great things have happened. Lupine, what are you doing?
I'm going to actually go for a knife because we're in close and
Sure.
probably not as like combatly trained as our Green Beret is to
Yep.
draw and start shooting.
Yeah, no, it
But
makes sense. Well, this was a kid's adventure. Now we're here. All right, so that's I think the knife is 1d6. If yeah, just roll 1d6 for me.
the button built into the anything to do the roll and everything.
Yeah, so you kind of like this baton goes by, you snap your knife out and just get this guy right up in the side. He's screaming in pain, very confused by your kind of successful quick draw and counterattack on this one. He stumbles back, clutching at this. They're both going to try and swing their batons at you again.
Uh oh, do we go again or
No, they're going now.
okay?
They got the drop on you after all. Yeah, so again, they both miss. The guy that the knife is in, kind of, he swings badly so badly he kind of falls to the ground, actually, kind of trips over himself doing that. What do you two do? So yeah,
Um,
Agent Latch, you're on the ground where the guy just kind of tried to get at you, but he missed. Agent Lupine, you've just kind of successfully stabbed this dude, and he's knocked him over as part of the process. What's the plan? Remember, in Delta Green, you can kind of do the fight back with your melee, which is kind of used to get out of some close combat situations or kind of disarm people if you want.
Since he already like swung over, he's so close to me.
Yeah, you shoot again if you
Um,
want. I'll even give you at this point. I'll even give you a +10 because you're so close, even though you're on your back.
I don't want to kill the. Can I opt to like shoot him in the leg, kind of thing?
Yeah, you can do that.
All right.
That's a called shot. So it's a -20. I'll give you a +10. So just do a -10 on that for me.
All right. -10.
This investigation plays out so differently if you're kids.
All right. Yeah. So a success, and do I just click the 1d10 right here?
Yep, let's see that damage. So you blow this guy's leg off.
Oh
Like
no!
it's not going to be a good wound for him. Like he's not doing good. Like he's not. He falls to the ground just screaming and agony. Most of the leg is still there, but like you shot through both bones simultaneously, maybe nicked an artery. Like he is not in a good way. He's just screaming in pain and out of this, like clutching at his leg. Again, like he always like he was already kind of in the process of falling as he swung at you and missed and stuff. Like he is just having a bad day at this point. Lupine, what do you do?
Um, so I want to try and disarm my guy of his baton.
All right, all right. So give me an unarmed combat, or you trying to like, what are you trying to do? Just kind of like grapple him essentially.
Yeah, he'll be using unarmed.
Yep.
It's... Nope.
Yeah. So you're struggling. One of these guys is like on the ground, just screaming and writhing, and people kind of call him out of this. The other guy's engaged with Agent Lupine. He's gonna try and fight back, if you will. Two.
So which guy's fighting
He's
back?
trying to kind of get you in a hole, but he's not quite getting it. Like he's trying real hard to grab you as you're trying to grab him. What's the response to this? You're just kind of trying to like point your gun at him and say drop, or what's the plan?
Okay, so he's trying to grab me.
Oh, he's trying to grab Agent Lupin. They're the two fighting. You've very successfully incapacitated your guy that was trying to get you.
Okay, so I'm gonna run over to where Lupine is, and I'm gonna aim my gun right at the head of the guy and say, they tell him, you need to calm down right now.
All right, give me a persuade.
Right? 6% success.
Yeah, so he kind of like Lupine and this guy are kind of struggling back and forth, which he's kind of like drops the baton from his hand type of thing and just kind of slowly does the hands up thing and sinks to his knees. Just he's like, fine. Who the hell are you guys, by the way? You're not park rangers.
And you're not scientists, so considering I'm the one with the gun right now, you better be the one answering these questions. Who the heck are you guys?
We're HCE security and recovery specialists. You really think you could just walk into HCE and start talking about something crashing out in the woods and we're not going to try and recover it? Like, are you guys new to this or something? Like, are you Russians? Like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, first
I'm
off,
going
I don't know
to
what the heck you think you're recovering by hitting us over the head with a fucking baton. I'll tell you right now, that's not how this is going to go down.
Oh, you think we're the only 4 people out here right now? There's 2 recovery teams out here already analyzing the crash.
So there is a crash.
Ah, shit, I mentioned the crash.
Keep talking. Tell me about the crash.
Point to the trees. It was obviously a crash. He passed that persuade, so he's kind of scared of you at this point. A satellite came down. We were kind of communicating with it, and something happened, and it crashed. We just have a team or 2 out here looking into it, and they're just trying to recover what was on board it. It was like it was taking some readings or something. We don't know what's going on. It crashed back in September. We only found it recently. Like again, it's big woods out here. There's the bubbles. There's the deer. There's the bear, or what used to be a bear, I guess. It's really causing a bunch of problems out here. The bubbles are the biggest problem, though.
What do you know about the bubbles?
We're not sure, but we've been calling them rifts internally. Like they're not dangerous per se. I I don't think you know anything about this, but ever heard of string theory or kind of the idea of like side by side worlds? We're not sure how it's doing it or what it's doing it, but we're pretty sure they're like little portals or gates that connect, well, our reality to other realities. Like, what the hell are two park rangers caring about? We've had to deal with Ranger Rick for months now. Whenever something crashes or goes weird out in the woods, we clean it up for him. Like, what happened to Ranger Rick?
That's what we
He's
want to know.
that's what we yeah. Part of the reason we're here. What else do you know about the rifts? Have you guys actually sent anything across and come back?
We're just trying to ignore him. We're trying to find. Uh, this is the closest we've ever gotten to finding kind of the satellite, I guess. Like, this is the first time we found the path out here. This like, kind of gestures around all the bubbles. We've never seen this before. A rift pops up. We've like put a couple things into it once or twice, and kind of it broke off once the rift vanished. But we're just hoping if we find the satellite, we can make them go away and everything can go back to normal.
So does it start happening before the satellite went up, or after the satellite went up, or give me a timeline
We're
here?
not as far as we can tell, the rifts just started happening after the satellite crashed. I'm not sure exactly what the timeline is for that, but the first rift was found about 6 or so weeks ago, give or take. But the Sasquatch crazies have been going on and on about how there's like a super squatch out here for a little bit longer than that. Not before the satellite crashed, but definitely since then. There's also the deer, which they seem to kind of be impacted by it first, I guess. Like they're normal deer, except they have way too many eyes.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, we have one back at the lab. They're absolute nightmare fuel.
Cool. Um, so I look over at Lupine and like, you all right?
I know about the mini-eyed deer. That's nothing new.
Lupine's never seen one. He's definitely heard about the deer that their antlers open up into eyes. Yes.
I swear to God, if you somehow show a picture of this thing later on, I'm gonna have nightmare fuel because the idea of multi-eared deer or multi-eyed deer just all of a sudden.
Oh, but I have a
That's the
description.
thing I think of.
Go ahead.
Uh, we'll see if you find one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Um. So, hmm. Got any questions for him, Lupine?
Well, and I want to know why they decided to try and fight us out here.
Yeah. What's the big idea on that one?
So we came to you saying that there's something crash out here.
The deal we had was Rick was that none of the bad press of this got out. You're not Rick. We don't know you. Also, Wraith seems afraid of this. Like this recovery's taken way too long. Like we thought maybe you were from the government or something. Or like we don't know you. It's a relatively small town still. Like one of the biggest fears we have is like foreign interests suddenly taking control of technology working here at the Loop. Like this is a super science facility. We do build impossible stuff here. Like we're responsible for a bunch of the major breakthroughs that happen, and a bunch of people might like to take that for themselves. It's a lot of dangerous potential to some of the stuff we work on, like the robot tech, the kind of the automaton stuff we occasionally develop. Like hell, half the world doesn't have the gravitrons because the particles don't exist down there. Imagine if they found some way to shut that stuff off or damage our whole shipping lanes based off of that. There's reasons to be secretive. Again, like we are a super science facility. Like this is not some place you just walk into and go, "Hey, we think something weird is out in the woods and it's your fault."
Hmm. Well, you're still looking to see what this whole thing is, but I guess now we're joining your recovery team on finding the satellite because these rifts that you guys talk about also concern us quite a bit.
Hey, this stuff is a danger to everyone.
Yeah, no shit. Uh, kind of looks at his friend who's still like writhing in pain. I tell you what, you can keep bumbling around in the woods out here all you want, and I'll radio in when I get back to civilization that they should give you a wide berth if you actually are rangers. If not, I don't want to know what you're doing out here. Can I get my buddy back to town so we can take him to a hospital?
So I will. I'll check his. I actually want to search his body real quick, see if he has like a wallet with an ID.
Yeah, he's got one of those. That's easy enough to find.
Okay, so I'm gonna pull his ID from his wallet, and so I'll say we'll let you go. You give us the quote unquote wide berth. If we deal with any trouble, I have your address. I will burn your house to the ground.
Yeah, whatever, dude. I don't get paid enough to deal with fucking Rambo the Ranger.
All right. I think we've got some first aid stuff with the truck. But just back at the station. Do I have? Actually, did we bring our packs with us? I don't know if we.
I assume you did. Yeah,
Okay.
I assume you did.
Okay.
Delta Green rules suggest you did, and I guess like Lupine has a pretty high first aid skill if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would say let's patch him up. So
Yeah.
just kind of
I'll try and
stabilize
patch
him
them
some.
up.
You
stabilize him
monsters.
some, yeah, because we do have to basically
Yeah.
carry him back because I did blow up his leg or part
Well,
of
this
it.
guy can get him back on his own. You don't have to kind of drag him
Okay.
back by yourself. But yeah, you managed to kind of stabilize this guy so he won't bleed out in the process. But yeah, he kind of makes his way back, carrying his partner, and you are alone in the woods with this kind of direct trajectory path deeper into the woods. Yeah.
All right. So I look over to did they leave already?
Do you have any last questions for him, or
I was gonna
do
take
you
his
want them to be gone?
no, I was gonna take one of his
Fine.
badges, so if we needed to get into the building we could go, but
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you could have grabbed one of those. He's gonna remember you took it though, too. Like it's.
yeah. If anybody asks, he lost it in the woods. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I'll hang on to his ID and one of the badges for the guys. Well, the guy who got injured, I'll take his badge because technically he's not
Okay.
going to need it for a while.
That's a fair argument. Yeah. Nah. So yeah, if
Yeah,
you're now alone
I'm
in the
not
woods.
taking
You've
anything
stolen this
from them.
badge.
It's eerie how okay I am with doing some of these things with this game.
You've played a lot of Delta Green. It's turned you into a worse person. Yes.
Yeah.
Makes the thought. I believe your character would also very much be about that. Like he is a Green Beret after all.
Yeah.
Agent Latch is a bit of a monster.
All right, so
Yeah.
I look over to Lupine and say, well, you know they're called rifts then, or at least they're tied to some sort of weird sciencey thing that's not exactly my forte. I don't know if you're familiar with any science stuff like this. Not really my thing.
Not really my thing either.
Huh. Well, maybe we should get in contact with somebody who does. Could we go pay the that scientist guy a visit? We have a way to get in.
I don't think we should go right in after what we just did.
Fair. Okay.
Unless you want to try to get there before, but
No.
I would also remind you that Delta Green training is that you guys need to deal with this as soon as possible, minimizing as much kind of focus on it as possible. Yes, you're not in your version of the 80s, but the tenets of maybe as few people need to know about this as possible probably still hold true to Delta Green methodology.
Yeah. So, I think we should go visit our friend sooner than later. Those guys will probably be at the hospital. So,
and we also gotta see what's causing all this.
well,
And we could see it.
yeah. Well, we could just kind of scope outside and then follow the guy home.
Who are you following, I guess? Like, I'm not quite sure.
The main scientist guy we spoke to earlier, the one who gave us the two security
He was
guys.
not a scientist.
Okay, well, whoever that guy was. He wasn't. Oh, he wasn't a scientist at all.
He was not
No,
a
he was
scientist.
Okay.
He is head goon.
Hmm. Okay. Hmm. What time of day is it right now?
We'll say you kind of been out and about and hiking, so we'll say it's like getting close to kind of mid afternoon, give or take.
Okay. So I think casually I'll kind of just look over and be like, I'm going for some pizza right now. And so like I don't really know what other leads we could take right now, but
You could follow the tree line.
Yeah, we could go see this crash
There's
satellite.
literally a line leading to where this thing crashed. In theory.
Oh, I thought it was just only the trees up top. Never mind. I'm
No, at the
spacing out.
top,
Yeah,
yes.
like,
We had a line.
literally like
Breakfast this morning, okay? I've got food on my head. All right. We should head over to the tree line. Let's follow the tree line. That's the right thing to do.
pizza is celebratory. We haven't earned it yet.
That's true. All right.
All right, yeah. So let's take a quick break from our Delta Green now that we're in it to remind you that this is Extra Life. Alex, take it away.
Yeah, so just a friendly reminder, with all this me blowing people's legs off and stuff like that, that this is a stream specifically for a children's charity. Specifically, it is called Extra Life. They raise money for Children's Miracle Network hospitals across the United States, Canada, and I think Puerto Rico now. I know United States and Canada. That's a biggie. Yes, we are playing for Dornbecker Children's Hospital here in Portland, Oregon. And yeah, so that's what we're doing here today. So far, we've had some wonderful donations from wonderful people, so thank you. We had the Demon Skunk, which is literally giving us a bunch of free roll stuff we can do, which is great. Obviously, Invader Gur, which is a friend of ours and actually a friend of the podcast.
Long
and all
friend
that.
of the channel, yeah.
Yeah. And then the Rollers are Ryla. Did I say that right this time?
Yeah, close enough.
Okay. For triggering that dice giveaway a while back. Thank you very much for that. And of course, Michael Berry, the Delta Green Spark for today's stream. I just want to thank you as well because I
Thank
love
you
Delta
so
Green.
much. The notification's great for
Yeah.
us in the loop, but I get to do way worse things if it's Delta Green.
Yeah, so thank you guys all so much for donating. I know obviously doing a donation stream right around Christmas time is rough because everyone's getting presents. So doubly appreciate you guys for, putting some money out and giving to the hospital. Again, friendly reminder for this, 100% of the money that goes towards the stream today goes directly to help the patients of Dornbecker Children's Hospital. We get no cut. Extra Life gets no overhead. It is just going right directly to those patients. So thank you very much for those of you who donate, and then for those of you who donate in the future. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you.
We have some lovely dice to give away.
We do. And I think we're actually not too far off from triggering the milestone dice giveaway, which is at $500. We're a little. We're not too far away, but yeah.
What are we at?
We're at 413, and our dice trigger giveaway is at 500. So
yeah. Again, $1 is the entrance to that, so that's how we're doing this. Got to pay a little bit to get access to the dice.
Yep.
Which we will happily mail to you, and they're wonderful.
Yeah. In fact, let me pull up the dice. So this first dice has already been claimed. This was claimed actually by the Rollers, or the Roller Rally. So thank you so much. They won that giveaway. This is another die that's available. It's a very nice gold one. Do you have it on nearby? Pretty kind of show it.
Yeah, I'm all nearby.
Yeah.
The next one will be the purple kind of clear set.
Yeah, that's the one up on the picture right now, which is a clear set.
I tried holding them. I can't. They don't show up well.
Yeah, okay. And then we have one with red. So we've got one with purple text that's clear, and then a red one with clear. So yeah, thank you guys so much again. I will turn off the slideshow here. And again, yeah, like I said, those of you who donated, and I see you, chat, Demon Skunk, thank you so much. You are definitely doing your part. We appreciate you. Yeah, I think any other little things before we segue into our next scene, or?
Yeah, it was a good spot to remind people while we're here exploring the woods.
Yeah. And of course, obviously, if you can't donate, if you can spread the word of what we're doing and all that stuff, that also is.
If you're having
helpful.
fun watching this, let your friends know about it. We're having fun doing it. I didn't expect us to be doing Delta Green this early on.
I did not expect it at all.
Neither did I.
I'm
Oh,
so glad I prepped this part. It's such a different thing.
oh, I love.
There was a robot logging company and the Sasquatch people you can talk to. But no, if you're Delta, you can just go to HC and be like, "Hi," and fall into that trap.
Hi, I've been really gun happy since we switched to Delta Green too. Like I've literally shot a bullet into the ground. I've shot a dude's leg off. Mind you, when we got into combat, my first reaction was, "Let me pull my gun out." I like how Lupine was more level-headed and went with the like,
Level
"Oh,
headed stab a guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's not really level-headed. Like he stabbed a dude. That's so much worse.
well, we're not exactly good people in Delta Green, I guess."
No. Yes, I guess that's a reminder. Delta Green is a game of. We play a lot of Delta Green on negative modifier. It's a darkish game, but
Yeah. So Squatch and Bros logging, yes, that we do. We should incorporate. But
or the shirts will be made.
all right. I think
But back to Delta Green.
back to Delta Green.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, so you keep following the tree line in. Again, this thing fell for quite a distance. Like it hit a trajectory and ran, and easily kind of hike another hour or two in, and eventually you kind of come to a cliff in the woods looking down, and it's not high, it's only 20 feet up. Cliffs might be too strong a word, a rise that kind of quickly drops down, and you see a herd of deer off in the distance. There's like, I don't know, five, six of them. Herd's probably getting stronger, but there's a group of deer. They're all kind of milling about doing deer things. What do you do?
I'll pull out my binoculars and look towards the deer to get a better view.
Yep.
Are they normal deer, or am I dealing with some freaky-ish fucking deer?
They look like normal deer. They're just normal deer.
Okay.
You're looking at them through the binoculars?
Yeah, I'm looking at them through the binoculars.
Yeah, so you're looking at them, and then the antlers wink at you.
Fuck, I knew it. Do I have to sand
Yeah,
roll?
so oh, we're gonna get to that in a second. Yes, yes,
I
you
knew
will.
it.
So what's whatever happened to these deer, it's not clear what caused it, but what you thought initially was normal antlers are indeed antlers, but the texture on them is actually eyes. Tens, maybe hundreds of eyes, all staring off in every direction possible, just in the antlers of these deer. Each one blinking and kind of shifting its gaze ever so slightly. At a quick glance, you wouldn't notice them. In fact, in theory, you could close all those eyes at once and not have them open. They look like normal antlers at that point. But we'll say like seven or eight of these eyes on the side of this deer's antlers that stare directly back at you. Give me a sand check.
The idea of that roll.
I thought it was a pretty cool idea. Yeah.
It's a great idea.
Terrible.
Like somebody in the chat said, make eye contact with savage dominance. You might have to headbang. All right, I'm doing my sand roll.
Yep.
Oh, forget because I have all these windows open on the screen right now. Failure.
All right, so this is a 1d4 sand check. This is a much more disturbing thing than time travel. Again, this deer did wink at you with its antlers.
All right, at least just one point of damage.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. You've heard stories about these deer with way too many eyes, but that's the description given. And the deer see you. They don't kind of this. It's weird. So the eyes are functional. The eyes are now tracking you two on top of this rise, and they're looking at you and kind of following your activity. Uh, what do you do at this point? Those are obviously some natural deer. They're acting like normal deer by all measures. Like Ranger Lupine, you would know that these deer are behaving as deer grazing should. Like the fact they're aware of your presence is correct and not abnormal in any way, shape, or form. It's just the eyes. There's way too many goddamn eyes. You gotta try and like avoid around them. You gotta try and they might run if you got closer to them. Again, they just appear to be deer, but with a little bit more.
Hey, Letch, you seem awfully interested in those deer.
They have here. I hand the binoculars over to him. Like they have a bunch of eyes.
Do you look at the deer?
I've I keep hearing reports of them. I need to see this.
All right, give me a sand check.
Did it? Okay.
Is it a Stantler Pokemon loop? Are we in the Pokemon loop? Is that what's? I need to look up Stantler.
I actually was talking about not quite. That's more of a reindeer. But yeah, okay. So 1d4 sand damage, Agent Lupine.
What the fuck? Oh, that's still weird.
Yeah, this one hits you hard. You know what deer are
Ugh.
supposed to look like, and this is not normal deer.
Do they lose their eyes through the season and
That's a
regrow them
very
like
good
deer?
question.
Oh, there's so many issues with this idea of a oh.
I love
Mm.
these deer. These are one of the greater unnatural things I've made up recently. I love
Oh,
these deer so much.
this isn't from lore. You made this up.
I made this up.
Oh, this is so disturbing just to think about. Like,
Well, and by all logic, these deer still butt heads to do the whole kind of mating ritual thing, meaning they are crashing their antlers covered in eyes against other antlers covered in eyes. So either they're closing them, which means they're partially going blind during the process, or they're seeing first person headbutting.
this is legit making my eyes hurt just thinking about that. Oh fuck. Ah, that's a real life sand damage. Oh, it's so disturbing. Okay.
And I'm gonna make it even worse actually for you. You know how deer antlers fall off?
I swear to God, if they keep blinking after they fall off.
Maybe they do, but also that means in theory those eyes eventually dry out and like the sockets hollow out, so the antlers that might be in people's houses if they shop them are covered in empty eye sockets.
I don't like that.
God damn it,
I
Charlie.
broke Alex. I broke Alex.
Not a lot bothers me, but that really bothers me.
And then imagine the job of someone who's trying to like stuff and mount one of those. They'd have to get a bunch of glass eyes to put in the antlers.
I broke Alex. Extra life is where I broke him.
God, that's so disturbing to think about. If I have that like trilophobia thing where like when things have too many holes in them, it throws me off. The mere idea of that just Demon Skunk, you're not helping. God.
Demon Scout, Demon Skunk, I support your endeavors in this one to make it so much worse.
Okay, all right. Let's continue on.
Let's keep going. So there's this herd of nightmare-inducing deer that Alex will be seeing later on tonight when he falls asleep.
Oh, dude.
I forgot about the phobia you have. I'm a little bit sorry, but
oh no, it's fine. It's totally fine. I just was not of things I thought I would see today or imagine is the many-eyed deer. When you said many-eyed deer, like, oh, it's got a bunch of eyes like a spider does. No, the antler thing. No, that is grotesque.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be that trail cam where it's like the multi-legged, multi-eyed deer.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody just said just the entire rack of antlers weeping blood. Oh, that's actually kind of sick, like a cool way. But like, oh. All right.
Imagine moose antler. We need to move on. We do have the rest of the investigation.
I mean, they're
As much fun as I'm having beating these antlers to death or poking them in the eye, if you will.
Let's just give them a wide berth.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, they might still be normal deer, but I don't want to dwell on that right now.
They have tons of eyes. They're not normal deer. Let's give them a wide berth. Let's go.
Yeah. Nice. So you kind of make your way around them. The deer seem to keep track of you, if you will. You definitely feel several eyes upon you as you kind of walk through the woods around them, but they don't really react to you. As you're moving past, you kind of get about 100 yards. Give me an alertness check.
I will do mine first. Oh, there we go. Success for Lupine here, and then I will do mine.
Yep.
12 success as well.
I want you both to re-roll that now because I'm using my little bank screw them over roll for a little bit. I've been waiting.
Oh, all right. Go ahead. You can go first on the roll.
All right.
All right. Oh, that's
Oh,
so
this makes me
good.
so happy. So happy with where we're at right now. Yeah, you don't notice anything. Maybe hear the far off sound of a deer making a deer sound of some kind, like a deer whinny or deer call of some kind. But yeah, you kind of keep following the line.
The fact that you said, "Oh, you didn't hear anything," was just so casual. I know some. All right. Well, I guess.
It's almost like you've played this game with me before and know how I love rewarding failures like that with, oh, you failed? I know we made you roll, but like, let's make sure you're aware you failed.
Well, since I don't notice anything, I just keep
No,
moving.
you don't notice anything. Yeah. So the sun starts to set. Eventually, you kind of like you're deep in the woods at this point. It makes sense that they haven't really come across this, but you come to kind of the edge of what looks like a crater almost. And sitting in the center of this crater, amongst kind of a bunch of messed up trees and dislodged earth, is a satellite. Like it's an older, kind of retro styled satellite appropriate for the 80s, but it's a large, kind of military grade satellite. It's burned up to shit. And on kind of like the biggest kind of thing you notice from the distance is on the side of it's cracked open, like doors, if you will, just kind of like, and inside of this kind of an unnatural, like amber yellow glowing thing inside of this thing. Maybe it's a core of some kind. Maybe it's something that grabbed in orbit. All you know is it's bathing kind of the general area around this kind of crash site in this kind of very unnatural glow, making it much more visible than the kind of forests around you. Also, there's just kind of a pile of those small bubbles or the rifts just kind of slowly orbiting around this place. They're easy to dodge, but they're just there.
He said these are golden orbs as opposed to like the rift orbs.
No, they're normal. They're kind of
No,
reflecting the gold. They're reflecting the light more, but they're the normal rifts. They're just the small ones, all kind of
Ah,
floating around this thing.
the golden light's coming from the satellite.
gotcha. Okay. Um, is there a path I can walk closer to this the golden glow thing without hitting any of the orbs, kind of thing? Or
Getting around them's easy enough to do. Yeah, they're slowly moving, and
okay.
yeah, that's easy enough to do.
So then, yeah, I will go ahead and kind of just walk and get closer to this, which I guess is the satellite that fell.
That's a logical assumption. Yeah, like
Okay.
it follows like the trajectory through the trees that crashed lines up with this thing being more or less where it's at. Like it's got the HCE markings on it, type of thing. Like it's a satellite as best you could. Probably never seen a satellite in person, but like they said satellite. This definitely crashed. It's covered in burn marks. It's got HCE on it. It's probably a satellite.
Okay. So yeah, I'll get closer to investigate. I didn't do any roll athletics or anything like that. I'm dodging little
Yeah.
orbs.
Nah, they're again they're not rotating fast. It's not like an asteroid field. This is kind of a thing that to be mindful as you get closer of.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll go ahead and just get closer then.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep an eye out.
All right.
All right.
So
So you're
I guess I get to the as close as I can to this thing.
yeah. Yeah, so the light as you get closer, it's not painful to be, but it's very uncomfortable. Like being near this light is not pleasant. Like there's an unnatural, just kind of doesn't make you feel sick, but it makes you feel tired and drained and like maybe like you're about to get sick or something. Like it's very being here is genuinely unpleasant. Like it's I'm not gonna say it's poisoning you, but you feel like you've eaten something bad. You feel not full on physical sickness, but like being
Hmm.
there is like, ugh.
Like nauseating.
Yeah, like being in its glow is nauseating. The closer you get, the worse these feelings get. Give me a sand check, both of you, as you approach this thing.
No,
38 out of 49 success.
All right, so Agent Lupine, you're gonna give me a 1d4 as this thing kind of just the sickness is slowly overcoming you.
Just want chat said, was it
Oof.
Merdling said this is how gamma radiation. This is how you know the gamma radiation is working, and that it's also a demon core. And considering these deer, I'm inclined to agree that it's in fact a demon core.
So yeah, a little modified rule we play at negative modifiers. If you hit max on a sand roll, it's considered a max sand damage. So you're kind of unfortunately, like you were overcome with just kind of something's not right. Like where Agent Latch was capable of kind of not hearing the whispers this thing's putting off. This thing is in your brain, telling you just kind of how the human form is inferior. What if we could improve that for you? Have you thought about being better? It's not words, but it's this feeling of you could be better. All of humanity could be better. And you're just kind of overcome with just this sickening criticism of you as an organic species that's just so lacking in this glow's perspective on you. And you're kind of frozen as it just kind of works its way through your mind and drags its fingers ever so kind of harshly against your thoughts. While you're frozen through all of this, you hear at the top of this impact a roar of something massive. And standing atop the kind of crash site or the kind of crash crater is this 10-foot tall skeletal thing. It looks like a bear, but it's as though someone took every single one of its limbs and just pulled it to its absolute length. Like they've taken a bear and elongated every part of the bear possible. Like its mouth is too big, its body's just been dragged up into this strange kind of almost camel like predatory shape. It's obviously predatory though. Like its teeth have been elongated, its claws have been elongated, its paws are huge. It's just kind of staring down at you. It's illuminated by this horrible glow. It's just kind of it's a skeleton that somehow managed to slowly wrap in the muscle and flesh required to keep it going. But it's just a nightmarish just assembly, if you will, of something almost that belongs like a natural history museum as like a dinosaur display or something like that. Like this is what bones look like, but somehow it's still standing there with flesh and eyes and all that stuff, just staring down at you hungrily down here. Both of you give me a sand check.
Right. Um. Roll mine. Oh, I fumbled.
Yeah, you did.
I failed.
All right, so Lupine, you're still kind of shaken by this. You're still kind of shaken by the fingers playing with your mind. Latch, this thing is just a nightmare fuel. Both of you give me some 1d6 sand damage.
You can do yours first.
Oop. Helps if I put the thing there. Nah.
Damn.
Maybe we'll be going back to the loop, kids, in a minute or two.
All right. I rolled the 5, and yeah, Sam rolled the 6.
All right. Yeah, so you're both just kind of paralyzed in fear as this thing charges down the side of this crater at you, just maybe it's screaming in pain, maybe it's screaming in starvation. Mostly it's just a unearthly kind of reverberating roar that almost sounds like glass dragged across glass or something like that. So it just charges you and slams into both of you.
And
Uh,
I can't dodge yet because I'm still like
nope.
here. Okay.
You are.
I totally forgot we had some Wookiees in the chamber.
Yep.
Yep.
For those curious what you two missed, it was the fact that this thing scared all the deer off.
Oh, that's what the alert check was?
Yep.
Ah, okay.
It has been hunting you.
Oh,
But so it crashes into we'll do Agent Latch first.
okay.
All right. It hits for 9 points of damage. It's kind of it slams its bony body directly into your body. Now
Oh,
Agent Lupine.
I do have armor though.
It does. The armor helps you some.
Okay. So, how much does the armor take off?
You should have. You both should have level 4 armor. So subtract 4 from that. Agent Lupine, you take 12 points of damage minus 4. As it just kind of gets both of you in just this mad charge of sharp pointed corners.
Okay. How much damage did you say I take initially? Said 9?
You take 9 minus 4, so
Okay. So
5, and
5.
Lupine takes 12 minus 4.
All right. So I am at 11 now. Hit points.
And Myrtling, yes, what a terrible night to have a body that tastes like ham,
All right.
bathed in this unnatural light.
Hmm.
I'm
Do
not a
I?
total monster. You two should have some firearms that can do some actual damage to this thing.
Well, I don't know if I was carrying my rifle with me.
I'm
No?
assuming you. I'll say you were.
Yeah.
It's in your backpack type of thing. I'm assuming you guys pulled it out once you saw the deer.
All
I'll
right.
be
Yep.
nice on this one. This is not me being a total monster.
All right. Well, I will.
Yeah, so this thing's hit you guys. It's now your turn to respond to its advances. Like, it's knocked you guys both sprawling in this kind of eerie glow. Now it's closer, it's even more nightmarish. You're seeing all the shadows cast by the bones being kind of the main structure of this thing. Like, you can smell just how angry this thing is to be alive, too.
Okay. I'll go ahead and take a shot.
Yep.
I'll do it with the rifle.
Yep.
All right. Well, considering it knocked me down, am I close enough for a modifier?
Uh, yeah, you're close enough for a modifier. I think those guns have some stuff on them, too. I'll give you a +10. Like, you're shooting from opponent. Yeah, you're knocked down. Like, you're not in ideal shooting position, if you will.
So no modifier then, right?
No modifier, yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. 52 success.
All right, so this is a lethality gun. So let's see if that lethality does what lethality does in this game. Because you're let's be clear. He's shooting an AK-47. He's like full auto firing at this creature.
Okay. Gotcha. It's still. Oh, it's not sure. I have to max. There we go. Okay. I messed up the window there. All right. So do I click? I click the damage button and then the lethality
No,
afterwards.
click lethality first.
Okay.
All right, so there's 6 points of damage. That's not bad still.
Okay. And then do I click the
Lethality fail.
1d12?
Nope, that's the damage you did.
Okay.
The way lethality works in Delta Green is you're trying to get below a certain number and you add together the numbers you roll to equal your damage. So, like, if you get a 42, you still drastically exceed your lethality at that point. You still rolled a 6 at that point.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so the thing howls in pain as just kind of the shots hit into it. Agent Lupine, what are you doing?
I'm going for my shotgun because there's no
All
way
right.
I'm knife fighting this thing.
Oh, come on. Try stabbing it in the bone.
Do I click? How do I weapon roll? Ooh,
Fix that in a second.
a
Shot goes
failure.
wide. The shot goes wide. So the shots that hit it, it's mad about this. It advances on Agent Latch and kind of goes for a pin maneuver.
Wait, it goes on me?
You're the one that shot it successfully.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, so it gets up on its hind legs and just kind of slams its claws down at your prone form on the ground as you're shooting at it. You're up close. It manages to miss both of you, just kind of wriggle some to avoid the contact. Its angry mouth is just right up next. You feel just the heat coming off of its breath. Maybe some drool drips down you that kind of just snarls at you in frustration. You guys get to respond now.
All right. Did I take any damage from that, or is it
It missed.
okay? I'm gonna take another shot. Well, now it's closer to me now, right?
Yeah, you're point blank range. You get plus
Okay.
20. Like, it's.
All right. I'm going for another shot. Plus 20, you said?
Yep.
Success. 62.
All right, let's see the lethality.
Lethality. 12 damage.
All right, so just kind of the shots rip up through this thing. And again, like it's weirdly mostly kind of visibly bone. So you hear snapping sounds of the bullets kind of rip up through its rib cage and maybe hit a couple organs. It starts leaking this black, inky, putrefied blood. Everything about it's raining down on you because you're underneath it. It smells horrible. Maybe it burns a little bit to the touch. Not enough to do any damage to you, but it's truly unpleasant being down there, if you will. Agent Lupine, what are you doing?
Oh, it seems at least a little distracted with
Yep.
Agent Latch, so I'm going to try to get into a better position to you take advantage of the shotgun.
All right. You're going to stand up and shoot?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, so you kind of get into a non-prone position. You'll be ready to shoot next turn. All right, so it's now this thing's turn. It's kind of still engaged with Agent Latch. All right, so it kind of successfully hits for... I didn't know it could do that little damage. It only hits for 2 damage.
Oh, and does my armor negate all of it then? Because I have 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Punk ass bear skeleton monster thing.
Yeah, so it kind of it snaps down at you, kind of the teeth sink into your armor, like it's just like it's you feel it kind of rending you back and forth, but it's not being successful. Again, it's still technically a bear somewhere underneath there. Like it didn't gain non-bear abilities, if you will. All right, your 2's turn.
It's barely there.
Yes, it is barely there.
All right. Since it's basically not onto me and all that stuff, can I aim my rifle right at his head since it's basically on my armor?
Yeah, that'll give you the minus. Will negate the advantage you've had though, so it's a normal shot at that point.
Oh, it's a normal shot. Okay.
Yeah.
I figured since you're calling a shot, it's like a crit.
It's a minus. Yeah, it's a minus, but a plus at the same time because you're at point blank. Yeah, well, it's negated at that point.
Okay, I'll just do general spray and pray then, or whatever. All right. Do another roll here. Uh, 43 out of 80 success. So
all right, let's do lethality.
Roll my lethality. 8 damage.
All right. So a couple things happen. First off, it's kind of the side of its skull just blasts away, and that's good. Like you kind of more of that weird black blood starts leaking out of it. At the same time, looking at you, because it's so up close and you kind of it's on you, you see the bone is starting to kind of almost like regrow back in. There's a spider web forming of some kind amongst the bone plates, even after that quick damage was just taken.
Oh. Really?
Lupine, what are you doing?
Well, I want to try to shoot that spot.
All right.
Oh.
Yeah, so you're close enough. Just give me a normal firearms roll. All right, so let's see that big damage because shotguns do big damage in this game.
10.
Nice. Yeah, so you kind of blast more of this thing's skull down. Like it falters some as part of this. Like it roars through what's left of its head, but like again, like most of its head is now gone. The fact it's still kind of functioning is weird, and we'll deal with that in a couple seconds. What happens? So it's definitely kind of not all there. It's not capable of seeing. It's kind of swiping about more wildly or erratically. Like it's almost like an animal that's been cornered. It's kind of referred to feral instincts. It's still quite dangerous. It's still a 10-foot tall bear type of thing going on.
Yeah.
And so the good news, it's no longer biting into your armor, Agent Latch. The bad news, it's now just kind of pawing at the ground where it thinks you may have been at one point, wildly with its hands.
Okay.
With its paws, I guess. All right, that hits.
I don't like that look.
Yeah, so it's kind of freaking the hell out, and eventually one of these random paw slaps just land on your head, and for a quick second, there's a bit of and it just crushes it straight down into the dirt, shattering your skull and your brain in one kind of feral move as it gets a 28 of its 30% lethality.
I'm dead?
Yep.
Okay.
Agent Lupine, you've just seen this thing crush your partner in crime's skull into the ground. Like, its paw is there like a macabre head of where Agent Latch's head used to be. His body has not fully stopped responding to the sudden loss of a cranium. What do you do?
Uh, ooh. I want to put some. Let's see.
I will say it's not looking good. Like this thing is not behaving
Yeah.
well. Like
Well, I just want to put just little like move so I'm not in the exact same spot I was
yeah, just like
before
into the body mass or
and shoot.
something. That makes sense.
Let's see.
It hits. Let's do
Nice.
that damage. That is just barely enough. So the bullets kind of perforate this thing. You see a couple more of its ribs kind of crack under the shotgun blast. More of the black liquid kind of slowly seeps out, and it pauses for a second, and then just kind of falls forward. Its kind of body half breaking on impact, half just landing on the corpse of Agent Latch. Uh, it's still trying to regrow the bone, but it's not responding anymore. Like it's definitely trying to re-knit that, and over time it probably will. But you're pretty sure it's dead. Pretty sure.
Uh, I'm going to still try to put just a couple more rounds in
Yeah,
it,
just pumping
just
off
to be
shots
sure.
to make sure it's dead.
Yep.
Totally get it. Yeah, it's
Yep.
this thing just killed a man. Like yeah, I guess this is an extra live stream. We've gone a very dark path on
Yeah.
this one. That's on me for having a lethality monster on here. But yeah,
Hey, this is fun. I like
yeah.
it.
Yeah. Now I want to try to get Latch, but I don't. There's no way I'm going to move that huge thing off of
No,
his
getting
body.
Latch's body out of there is ill-advised, if you will. So yeah, so you've got this dead bear thing. You've got the satellite putting off these kind of strange amber glowing rays that, again, they haven't stopped talking to you. Like now they've kind of shift tone to be like, we could have designed that better. We could have improved that better. Who knew it needed a head to function still? Okay, it's not saying that so succinctly, but it's thoughts there.
I don't like that.
Oh,
Want to investigate the satellite?
Yeah, I don't like it. But
So, and because this is extra life, and because this is getting close to the end of our truly terrible tale here, and I don't want to leave Alex totally out of this, another voice kind of picks up in your head. It sounds like Latch. It might be Latch, but kind of there amongst the cacophony of voices that are kind of telling you what to do and how to improve yourself. And it's very focused on you need to shut that satellite down.
yeah,
I'm not saying it's his ghost, but I don't have a better word for it.
shut off
yeah,
the
I'm
shadow
trying to
light.
find.
Boo.
All right,
Agent Latch, professional even in death, trying to scare me. So
yep.
yeah, I'm going to try and find a way to destroy the satellite. Shoot into it or something. I don't think I have any like.
Yeah, so as you approach the satellite, a couple things you see. So it does feel like there's like a mechanism inside that could be used to close this core looking thing. You could also definitely try smashing the core. There also appears to be kind of a rudimentary 80s computer of some kind you could try and access in some way, shape, or form, but your options are limited. You don't have a laptop. You're not exactly familiar with 80s hacking protocols, if you will. What's the thought process?
Just open up command prompt. That's what all the movies did back in the day.
Yeah, and just madly type on the keyboard.
Yeah, just type a bunch of
Uh,
squiggles in there, like the dollar sign 9 times. That's how you engage shutdown protocols.
Oh,
I think I just need to divide by 0. That should do it. Um,
I'm sorry, this thing just made a bear and some deer weird. You think this thing can't divide by 0 somehow?
nope. I think I have to go with trying to like smash it because
All right.
Technology is not my character's specialty.
Yeah, so you're gonna pump some shotgun rounds off into the core, or what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm going for the core.
All right. Yeah, so you kind of it takes a bunch of shots, and like each shot like makes a glass shattering sound, but at the same time, like every time you there's like an underlying like almost a sigh, not quite the sound of like stress or pressure, like steam being released, almost like something alive is very thankful it can fear the oxygen. After kind of you empty the rest of your shotgun and do maybe reload once and pump a couple more rounds in. Eventually, the core does finally break, and from the kind of core of this thing floats this strange amberish green glow that kind of slowly drifts up above the clearing farther, and it starts expanding as it goes up, almost like a gas dissipating, to eventually kind of starts to spiral out and shoots off into the night sky towards space.
That was something.
Yeah, the glow dies. The bone knitting on the bear stops as the glow kind of dissipates away. You're alone there. Maybe some time passes. You're not quite sure how much time, but eventually several other kind of uniformed personnel from HCE arrive on the scene. They have searchlights. They kind of approach you. They look at the bear, look at you, and go, "Did you kill that thing?"
With a little help from fellow ranger.
Is he still here?
He didn't survive. He's under that thing.
Well, shit. Sorry about your friend. The guy of ours you shot up got back to us and told us you were trying to find this thing too. What the hell happened to you? We've been trying to find the satellite for a while. The tracking went down. We only found it because of the light show you just put on. You could see that from town. You know that, right? Like that was big. I looked small from out here, but apparently that thing was like a mile wide at its apex.
I'm not the scientist.
No, fair enough. Yeah. I got pause for the hands of radio over to you. This is Mr. Wraith. I believe we met earlier. I'd like to offer you a job back here at HCE. I have a suspicion we'll have other situations like this in the future. Welcome aboard, Ranger. Kind of camera pans out at that
Yeah.
point as this crash site maybe goes to space and you kind of see the light like wrap around the moon once, then shoot off towards Saturn or something like that as it goes deeper and deeper into space. And that is our extra life story.
Take that,
Our extra life
ET.
stream story.
Ooh.
Take that, ET. Get the hell out.
Yep.
Do we go back
Ooh.
to the kids part, or what's going on with that?
We can jump back to the kids if you want. We're kind of done at this point. That's the end of the story. The satellite thing is fixed. The forest will go back to normal. The rifts have been stopped. Yeah, let's jump back to the kids for a second. So they're home. They've had a strange day. Some wacko with a gun scared them out of the ranger's cabin. Maybe they're looking out their windows at the night sky and they just see this aura shoot out of the woods and kind of play in the air for a couple seconds, then just shoot off into the emptiness of space. Local town papers are aghast at this for several days, type of thing. Like, what was the mysterious light that blanketed over town? Was it Portland? Were the communists somehow involved? How does this work? What's going on? Is HCE to blame? Is Portland to blame? Red Dawn? Just stuff like that at that point. But
A lot of the old classic Cold War scare
yeah,
tactic.
yeah, yeah. HCE explains it was a communications test of something they were working on at the facility. Everything kind of slowly goes back to normal, but the town is forever changed. Strange things do keep happening in the woods. Not as strange, but occasionally a what appears to be a Sasquatch wearing a ranger's uniform is sighted. People like to joke it might be Rick out there, but who knows?
Huh.
But yes, thank you for joining us. This has been it's a negative modifier production, our wonderful extra live stream that started off as a Tales from the Loop stream and ended as a Delta Green operation with all the horribleness that happens in a Delta Green operation. I'm not gonna lie, trying to go back from Delta Green to kids, I'm like, how am I backtracking that one? But
Well, it is like that. The connection was that like we got scared off by by some jerk shooting a random shot in the woods.
Yep.
Okay, so I guess I have some really quick questions before we close it out, real quick, just
yeah,
for fun's sake here. What did happen to Ranger Rick?
he became a Sasquatch.
Okay, so
So like let's so before we do that, let's remind people of Extra Life. So this is your last chance to donate if you want to try and get some dice.
Oh, that's
We're
right.
gonna do one or two more kind of
Yep.
giveaways before we close this one out because we are here to raise money and do all that stuff. I'm going to answer your questions about this operation. Those who know Negative Modifier know I love to talk about the weird things I do to the various agents we put through them, and we'll duck into the Tales from the Loop stuff too if you want to kind of see how this plays out differently for that one. But yeah, yes, the comment of Tales of the kids find a dead body. I'd like to think HCE cleans that entire site up pretty well, but you raise a
Yeah.
fair point. Yeah, like to your point, in Tales from the Loop books, they're like, your problems can range from technological to like kids are bullying you, and that's I think that's a cool part of that game, is you can kind of ebb and flow with the dramaticness of the situation.
So just realized that it was the 80s and one of us was carrying an AK around.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it doesn't help with the whole. Oh god, yeah, fair enough.
I put a lot of effort into this, being like, okay, like, can I get them set up as like a Red Dawn situation or something? A lot of background stuff happened. We'll talk about in a sec.
All right, so I got the wheel ready for the other giveaway. Which one are we
Yep.
doing now? Oh,
We're doing
The
the
purple dice.
yeah, the purple dice, and then we will give away the gold dice as our kind of closeout thing for that. So we're gonna guarantee you 2 giveaways where we close this thing all the way out. I will be adding the, I guess, like, if you didn't win anything from this, we have a giveaway going on the kind of general, hey, we've been around for 1 year negative modifier thing you can go check out. I'll add the red dice as a secondary prize to that.
Hmm.
Unless we get a bunch of donations between now and when we close this. If not, we'll do 3 dice
we
giveaways at that point.
did
But
just get
yeah,
another donation right
we
now.
did.
Children of the Rice.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right. So I've got all of our names here. I want to make sure we double check it. So I've got Children of the Rice. I just added Human Skunk Studios, Michael Berry, of course. And I believe the anonymous donation was also Demon Skunk earlier. I got them on there. I will keep the rollers in
Yeah.
for the dono here,
Why not? Yep.
and then Invader Gert. So that's a total of what, 5?
Yep. That sounds
Yeah.
right.
All right, I will pull this up here on the screen now. Pull up the. It all. There we go.
Yeah.
It's right
Yeah.
there. I'm gonna just put this right in front over our heads. All right, ready?
Spin the wheel.
And this, which one is this one?
The purple transparent dice. So the kind of
All right,
clear with purple numbering on them.
that is Michael Berry. Congratulations, you are now the owner
Yeah.
of the multi purple dice set that we had here.
We will get your information from you after this.
Yeah. And do I have to do one more roll or?
No, we'll do that later. We'll do that in a
Okay.
couple minutes.
Okay, cool. So yeah, we'll make sure we have Mike Berry down for that one.
Yeah.
And then yeah. So you have the winners written down, right? Roller.
Yep.
And
I've been
then,
writing them down. Yep.
okay, cool.
That much I've been keeping up with on my end. But yes, if you got questions, now is the time to ask them. As
Okay.
there always are with these types of things. Delta Green is deliberately obtuse in how it handles player information.
Okay. Let's see. I'll start off with some questions here really quick.
Sure.
Was there a part of the timeline where we would have gotten back home through the portal?
Nah, it's kind of a one-way trip. So it's the glow is causing the portals to happen, and once the glow is shut down, the portals stop happening. Is the way of thinking of it. Like it's, yeah.
Gotcha. Second question. The head of security over at, was it HCE or
Yep. Michael Ray, HCE. Yep.
Michael Ray? Is that the lost Delta Green agent that made it through?
Yes.
Oh, the way you ended it! I knew it! Okay, so he's a Delta Green. Well, were there multiple, or was there just one guy who came through originally?
He's the one that survived.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, I guess the story of Michael Wraith is that he is the team they figured out you can go through the portals safely, and he is the survivor from it who then went to HCE and was like, "Yo, you have a problem out there, and by the way, I'm paramilitary, and I know what's going on here." Like, he is not as useful as you think, but also like it's again like it's there's some weird time dilation stuff going on. Like you can't exist before the thing shows up, but he shows up pretty quickly after the satellite goes missing. Like, you guys didn't get it when you were. On one hand, you were smart by letting the team live. On the other hand, like you could have run into like 3 or 4 other like basic SWAT team of HCE personnel out there
Sure.
trying to find the satellite that are quite well armed.
Hmm. Okay.
And he had them attack you because it's like we don't need people knowing what the hell's going on about there. So Delta Green's about containing the Cthulhu mythos. He's basically going, I don't know what's up with this crazy science facility here. I'm assuming it's a mythos thing. I guess I work for them now, and I'm gonna try and make sure like bad stuff doesn't happen around this area, because man, those portals we came through sure seem to be their fault, and they were indirectly.
Okay. All right. I don't know if we have any other ones off the bat. If anybody in the chat has any questions regarding the
Yeah.
campaign, that would be
Yeah.
pretty neat.
I'm a little curious to what sort of stuff the kids would have gotten into.
More or less the same thing. You'd have encountered the recovery teams, like you had to sneak around. So mechanical differences of the game is that like where Tales from the Loop, it's very much you succeed or you fail. It would have been like, hey, do you successfully sneak past these scientists because you like getting weird readings off of trees and stuff like that, and these kind of military looking guys that are very like searching for something. And if not, the answer is like you run. Maybe like one shoots at you and you like get winged by a bullet or something like that. Like it's there's no health system necessarily, but yeah, the deer are actually like, despite being disturbing as hell, harmless. They're just deer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Actually, since you bring up the deer, do you have an illustration of what the deer look like since you
No,
made this up?
I don't.
Okay.
I didn't want to see that. I had an idea for what the deer were going to be. I'm like, I don't want this nightmare fuel in my brain. The fact I thought of this is enough nightmare fuel. Like,
Well, the demon skunk is an artist. He might be able to doodle something up of that.
Ah. Oh, we've got a question here in the chat. Demon Skunk asked, was Ranger Rick a member of the Sasquatch fan club?
I think he's aware of it. If you guys had talked to the Sasquatch fan club, they're crazy. Not like Delta Green worshiping mythos crazy, but they're the type of people that spend hundreds of thousands of dollars a year trying to find Sasquatch in the woods and successfully find nothing every single year type of thing. Like they're not crazy,
Oh
more
no.
enthusiasts.
The pact has been sealed.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you didn't actually have an illustration of it here. That's so like all like fun and everything aside. That legit did bother me when I thought about it
I
more. Like I was like, oh, like I had like the weird chills down my spine when I thought about it.
Oh, let's talk about that nightmare too, because like I could look again, like I talked about this at the top of this. I do a lot of research for these things, so I spend a lot of time looking up like what animals they could encounter. And I actually have a bunch of stat blocks for a bunch of other animals that were mutated by this thing you could have run into depending where you went to.
Ooh,
Like a bunch of like hawks could have been a problem.
okay. What did the Hawks look like?
The hawks are hawks, but they share one consciousness, so it's a swarm of hawks.
Oh, what? Okay, that's kind of cool. So like ravens,
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
all hive mind.
yeah, basically, yeah. It was I had predatory birds for a thing.
Okay.
But
What
yeah,
else? Just hawks and deer. What else we got?
hawks. I had otters in here because I hate otters, and there's a bunch of water near this forest. Yeah, the bear and the deer were kind of the special ones. You had hawks, who I think it's Had a couple bugs in here actually, so you were supposed to come across kind of a giant worm, kind of
Okay.
sandworm style thing, which is a whole other mythos thing. But yeah, so it was one of those ones where kind of it became a okay. I want to put a deer in this because what's the worst version of a mutated deer I could think of? I'm like, well, it's a deer, but the antlers are alive.
Oh,
That's how we wound up with eyeball deer.
eyeball deer.
That's just reminded me of a Lovecraft comic I read, and the guy brings every cell of his to life. So like his teeth all have little
Yeah,
faces and are wiggly. Ugh.
Jesus, that's some beautiful nightmare fuel. Yeah. Um,
Uh, Demon Suck asked, "What are the shenanigans the supervillain company up to?"
so that's the thing. They're not necessarily a supervillain company. They're just kind of irresponsible, cutting edge tech company. They're building robots. The satellite's not inherently evil. So to explain the story of the satellite, they just launched the satellite to go and find some like weird energy readings they found on the back of the moon, which turned out to be this whole sentient light thing, and it kind of accidentally absorbed the light. Like the company's not inherently evil yet, because Tales from the Flood, the company's get a tad more evil, and they kind of get irresponsible in their pursuits as we move from the 80s to the 90s. Like HCE's not necessarily a bad company; they're just naive, and their eyes are a tad too open, and they're doing stuff that yeah, maybe we should put a homing beacon on our satellite when it crashes. Also, maybe we should invent a homing beacon before we send a collection satellite out there to investigate the strange energy source. Like all of it again, it's them being kind of like the space races happen, people go to space, but they're not by any measures good at it yet. Like it's all technology that's good on Earth, but not necessarily beyond the scope of it. And I kind of hinted at this in the world of Tales from the Loop. Technology is good on the northern half of the kind of continents. The southern half of the world is kind of still more or less at 80s technology, if not worse, because literally a bunch of the gadgets don't work in the southern hemisphere because they lack certain airborne particles that are that are present in the northern stuff. Like it's the setting's kind of strange, and that's actually where Tales from the Flood kicks in, where it's like, yeah, it turns out messing with those particles was a really bad idea, and it caused crazy flooding and like a robot virus and a bunch of other kind of crazy stuff to happen. Like the lore for the Tales from the Loop world gets stranger and stranger. But yeah, it's not necessarily that HCE is evil; they're just kind of bad at what they do from a grand scope of things. But yeah, they're
Yeah,
building
just
robots. Yeah,
80s, not a lot of
yeah, oversight.
oversight.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah, that they're probably in the process of inventing laptops as well. Like for every crazed satellite they're building, they're also like, what if we built robot parts to replace human body parts that were shot off during the war or something like that? There, yeah, it's just kind of. I always think of it as like the show Eureka, which not a great show in hindsight for a couple reasons, but like the idea of what if you set a town doing crazy science all the time? That's what's going on type of thing. Like any strange technology you can think of, the Loop is probably working on the 80s version of it. Like they're gonna build cell phones, but the cell phone might like cause things to become magnetic against their will by accident or something. Like we built this two-way communication device that maybe makes metal magnetic against its will or something. Who knows?
if I had
We'll
to
fix that
give,
in version 2.
if I had to give that like a name for that level of like sciencing, I would call it monkey's paw engineering.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
yeah, and I think the show that the Tales from the Loop got made off of it's really good. Where it's like, yeah, we built these gateways. The gateways are super cool. They just occasionally randomly appear in the wrong spot too. Like me and Alex have played a bunch of Tales from the Loop. That's actually the first game I kind of ran for Alex, and when we did that, we had everything from a weather device that was bringing dinosaurs into the modern era to
Yes, that's right.
a rogue robot that thought it was a wizard kidnapping animals from town because it was the Beast Maker, and it was just
Yes,
like building its animal army. Yeah, it's
that one was a really fun one because when we fought that thing, we had to fight it following the rules of a book because it
yeah,
was based off of like a wizard lore book thing. So when we did the whole challenge thing, this robot
a
wouldn't
wizard's
kill
duel.
us.
Yeah,
It was a wizard's duel that we had to do, which was really fun.
yeah, it's a
That
great system.
sounds
I
great.
love Tales from Loop is a lot of fun. Like it's a fantastic introduction to tabletop RPGs. The book the book is great. The first like the first 20 pages are rules, and then the rest of it is, hey, here's a bunch of stuff you can run with this. Like it's an unbelievably versatile system. I unabashedly think it's one of the best. I've never played a tabletop RPG games before out there. It's just kind of fun and weird, and like everyone kind of knows the 80s. And if you're wrong, that's half the point of the game.
Yeah, the show was a little depressing. It was
Yeah,
more. It was a lot more about the like about life and coming to terms with all its like weird darkness, and then
there's a reason there's not been a second season of that show announced yet. Yes.
Mm,
I enjoy the show, but yeah, it kind of misses the mark. I'm like, no, this should be
yeah,
like fun and upbeat, and kids being like,
yeah.
"Why is there a robot?"
yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, I don't know if I have any other questions other than I went on Google and searched multiple eyes, and now I regret it.
ah,
So yeah, that was a bad idea.
indeed.
Yeah. Oh wait, Demon's Cook said, "Don't you worry." Is Demon's Cook gonna draw the eye thing? Because oh
I
god.
hope he does. I
Yeah,
hope
he
they
said
Oh.
the
do.
pact is sealed, and then
Pact is
was
sealed.
menacing.
Menacing. Yeah, that's the JoJo's Bizarre reference. Oh man. Oh, you know what? What we'll do is don't send it to me, but send it to Charlie, and then Charlie will
Yeah,
report the reveal of it to me, so
yeah.
you can get my reaction recorded.
Yeah, before we dive into kind of our last giveaway and closing this thing out and kind of talking about Extra Life once more, we're a Negative Modifier. We do a weekly podcast. We play a lot of Delta Green. We're actually mid-season or mid-campaign of a very long-running Delta Green campaign. If you're enjoying this, you'll probably enjoy our other stuff. Like, it starts off less family-friendly, but it ends about where this thing ended constantly. Like, play a lot of Delta Green. We've got some other stuff planned for the future. We're on social, running where podcasts are. We just don't stream all that much because I'm not sure why we don't do that more. But yeah, go check us out if you enjoyed this. If you want to get in contact with us, we've got various socials, and we can also be reached at negativemodifier@gmail.com. Negativemodifier.com should get you, no, sorry, at gmail.com, not negative. Yeah, I said that right. Negativemodifier.com should get you to kind of all the links you need, though, too. We do have a website for this stuff. It'll also get you to the Extra Life donation thing if you want to donate. If kind of want to donate more, have some other people that might want to donate later after the stream's over. We're not closing this down anytime soon. This is just us being like, hey, we'll entertain you and do some dice and do that stuff part of it. But yeah,
Yeah, and
we'll do this next year probably as well.
yeah, and then also just the other thing is we do a podcast, and we have multiple like groups that do it. So it's like the current one right now, storyline wise, is what is it, F Cell, and then
Yeah,
previously,
that's
what was the other cell that was up before?
J Cell. And we also
It's-
have the Sumba Room and a Locust kind of story thing too.
Yeah, we do like one offs here and there. So if you like, these kind of like shows and podcast stuff, definitely tune in. We do usually after the end of a big like
Arc.
chapter
Yeah.
or arc, we do have like a live podcast where we or not yeah, live recording where we talk
Yeah.
about like some of the stuff that came up during the stuff like that. And so I was very limited what I could talk about in the last one because obviously we were just starting, but there's some really
And we'll
fun
be
stuff.
limited in this one because some big stuff happens in the third arc. We're only at the second arc. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to do one of those soon. This arc will finish up just in time for the end of the year, which I wish was planning on my end, but was not. Just kind of fun happenstance. I
Yeah.
enjoy the fact that our arc about maybe eating people started around for Thanksgiving, so I'm pretty happy with how time
That's right.
Yeah, but yeah,
Oh.
that's not why you're here for us to self promote that. I got to thank our fabulous guest for kind of diving into two games he's not necessarily all that familiar with. Again, thank you for joining us, Sam.
Thank you
Tell
so
us
much.
about
I
your
really
game
enjoyed
one
it.
more time. Yeah, tell us
Yep,
about that game.
it's Ether Drift. It just finished its Kickstarter. It's currently up for late pledges slash pre-order. You can get that by going to either searching on Kickstarter or going to demonskunkstudios.com. That will have a link over to that.
Nice. Yeah. Again, thank you for joining us. It's been hopefully you had
Thank you so
fun. You're also
much.
just sitting there being like these fucking weirdos, but yes, that brings us to
That's
the end. The end, my friends, which means it's time for our last dice giveaway.
Let's go. I've got
We're giving
the.
away,
Oh, go ahead.
we're giving away our last of our big heavy metal dice. So let's give them a couple seconds if they want to try and get in on this to enter some donations if you wish. If not, let's spin that wheel again, Alex.
Yeah, if you've already donated, you're already in the running. I haven't pulled any names
Yep.
out, so we're all still here. I'm gonna refresh one more time, and I will go ahead and I'm gonna reveal the roll again here.
Yep.
Let me bring this back up. I literally left it open last time. So great. There we go. The wheel is here, and this is for the big golden one, right?
Yes, my favorite of the collection. Not that I have a real favorite, but yes, it's quite nice. I am very into whoever gets this one.
All right, and
It's a beautiful heft.
without further ado, the spin begins. And it's gonna be Michael Berry again, it looks like, on this
All
one.
right. Got some dice headed your way, Michael.
Yeah. So thank you again. Yeah, I think almost everyone got something, actually. Like Invader didn't, but Children of Rice didn't. But I think Rollers, Michael Berry's got 2, and then we've got I think Demon Skunk won something. Didn't he?
Yeah. No, Roller's got one. Michael Berry got one. He gave us some of the bonus rolls we did.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll
Only spun the wheel 3 times. Not, I'll review the footage of this and make sure we didn't miss anything. But yeah. So that's it. If you didn't win any dice for this, the last of our dice will be kind of shuffled into our 1-year celebration giveaway. So I'm going to bump that up to 2 ones now. The options are a from the same maker, just a stunning set of metal dice, or the red ones from that stuff we've been showing off. Try and awkwardly show them. They're so clear they just don't show up against my skin, which is part of the problem.
Oh, well,
they're great looking in person.
I'll just pull up the slideshow
Alex,
here.
pop it up.
There we go.
Yep.
That one.
Yeah, a bunch of ways to enter to that. We're doing a bunch of stuff like that. And most importantly, thank you all for donating and hope you had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun doing this. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have been nice to maybe spend a little more time with Tales from the
great.
Loop, but at the same time, Delta Green rolling in is never a bad thing.
No, I was actually surprised that we got into Delta. I love Delta
And
Green.
so quickly, too.
Yeah. So again, a huge shout out to Michael Berry on that one. Picking that off. That was it. But yeah, thank you definitely for tuning in. Check out the podcast if you'd like. And like I said, we'll do future Extra Life events. And again, the charity stuff that we do, 100% of it goes directly to charity. We don't keep any of it, anything weird like that, And then, especially right now, given everything going on, that money definitely helps. And so, on behalf of Doorbecker, thanks for donating. I don't work for them. I just raise money for them.
Yeah. We picked them for a hospital for a reason.
Yeah. So
again, thank you all for tuning in.
Yeah. I guess it's time for the outro.
Yep.
All right. Have a good one, folks.